Welcome to the Vault XL. Thank you so much for joining me. Hope you all had a wonderful weekend. Please be careful out there on spring break for those of you who are deciding to travel this week, students and other participants. Thank you for your time. I brought you commentary the other day pertaining to Sarah Boone. She has a criminal case out of Winter Park, Florida, where she is being accused of murder. Second-degree murder of her boyfriend at the time, Jorge. He climbed himself, allegedly, into a suitcase, and she claims that she forgot about him inside of the suitcase, went upstairs to sleep, and came down the next day, the following afternoon, and found that he was inside of the suitcase, administered CPR, but she also filmed this very diabolical crime, and that is what led investigators to arrest her and charge her with murder. Did she murder her boyfriend? Should this be a second-degree murder or manslaughter, negligent homicide? You be the judge. We're going to chop up the interrogation. It's about 2 hours long. If I decide not to play all of it, feel free to go to my community board. It is posted there via the YouTube queue. Thank you for your time. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $sign the Ganji, 129 Cash App. All stickers and chats are welcome during this live stream. We're going to chop up this interrogation. Is she telling the truth? Did she forget about her boyfriend? Why did she film it? Why did she curse him during the filming of this crime? Did she intentionally murder her boyfriend? Sarah Boone will be facing trial next month in April in a Florida courtroom. Law and Crime Network is the source of this information. Thank you for joining me.
I'm going to have you sit in the green chair that doesn't move. Appreciate you coming in.
Yes, ma'am. I want to ask you about the whenever we have a moment.
Sure. So obviously, you received his autopsy. So I'm going to read you your rights again because we have to talk about that. And since I'm talking about the incident, we just have to do it. Just like we did yesterday. Remember I read you the rights? Your rights? Yeah. It's just the exact same thing, but since I'm asking you follow-up questions, I need to read them to you, okay? Sure. All right, so you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say may be used against you in court. You have the right to talk to a lawyer before and during questioning without charge. If you cannot afford a lawyer and want one can be provided for you before questioning without charge. Has anyone threatened you or promised you anything to get you to talk to me?
No.
And do you understand what I just read you?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So this morning we went to his autopsy, and we were informed of some injuries that he has by the doctor. So so he's got scratch marks in his back.
I know what that's from.
Okay. And it's called a contusion. Do you know what a contusion is? So like basically you're getting hit and then you get a mark from it. You'll get bruising. Like someone hit you or something like that. It's called a contusion. So he had some injuries to his left shoulder. He had a cut near his lip. We could see his mouth was a little.
I haven't laid a hand on him.
Okay.
Also too, he fell off my son's bike.
Okay.
So I don't know. And he's notorious for running into the wall or the haltery. So why?
Okay. What about the scratches? Because there's also sex.
Yes.
Okay. Because there's also like a scratch on like the back of his neck, like kind of like going, but it's like going straight across.
I have no idea what that's from.
I made a discrepancy in my last video pertaining to this crime. When you hear this detective describe a contusion, that means an injury, I guess, done to the body. I, for some reason, thought it was a head injury. So excuse me for that discrepancy. What happened to him in that suitcase? Because if she never went in there and did anything to him, how was his body injured? Was his body injured before getting in the suitcase or while being in the suitcase? awake or not awake, because we don't really know what happened in that house, in this apartment with Sarah and the boyfriend. So how did he get this contusion? Exactly where was the contusion? Shoulder, neck, back, what? Why did he climb in there? Did he climb in there inebriated, uninebriated? What? Was he drunk? When they give the autopsy results, will it show that he was inebriated when he got in the suitcase? Injuries done to him before or after death? Did she open the suitcase at some point while he was not breathing and hit him? Or was he clumsy, as she states in this interview, that he bumps into things? If he's known to be inebriated often, clumsy, then that could explain the injuries. But the gist of the story is that Jorge is not here to tell us how he sustained these injuries. So that's going to be a problem, because everything is going to be the shape of the body, what's found on the body at the time of death, and Miss Boone's testimony. Thank you for joining me. This is the Vault XL.
But it's like going straight across.
I have no idea what that's about.
And they're all recent. Like they occurred recently. It wasn't something that occurred post or that occurred a week ago, or 2 days ago, 3 days ago. They definitely occurred, the night leading up. So when he was,
In all honesty, we have not gotten into it.
okay.
That's why, the only thing I thought you guys were going to ask me about, which I was going to be honest with you anyway, are the scratch marks on his back.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else, I have no idea what it is. No idea what it is. Nonetheless, I've had my son over the house too, so.
Well, your son was there when? When was he last there?
Oh gosh.
My understanding he was there last Tuesday.
I don't know if it was Tuesday, but yes, he was there last week, so.
Well, we're talking about Sunday. We're just talking about what occurred Sunday. Because like I said, the injuries they occurred within that time period.
So you're talking about day before yesterday?
Sunday leading into Monday. You called us yesterday at 1, but the incident, you guys were painting and stuff the night prior.
Correct.
So we're talking about Sunday and then into Monday.
Thoroughly confused because we had a good time sitting on the back porch having wine and smoking a couple of cigarettes, and then decided to go inside and literally paint, do puzzles, and play and listen to music. That's why nobody got out of sorts. This is what's mind blowing to me. I have no clue. Nobody laid a hand on anybody.
He also had on the left side of his forehead, he had basically bruising, and on his head and skull.
I have no idea.
As if something hit him.
I
consider
have not touched him. I have not touched him. I have not touched him.
How would you get those injuries?
Tell me and we'll both know. I have not touched him.
Yesterday, when we took photographs of your overall body, and they did the buccal swabs, did they go under your fingernails?
No.
Okay. Are you willing to let us
Absolutely.
swab underneath your fingernails?
Go for it.
Okay.
I have no idea, and I don't want to seem out of sorts, but I have no idea. We had a good day.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good day. We've had good days lately. Even considering everything that's going on with our jobs and life in general and ex-wives and everything. It's been good. I don't even know where this is coming from.
Yeah, I think the last physical was probably, you said, I think, a month ago?
So we're probably running over 100.
Sorry about that. Got commercials. Thought this was going to be a straight through playing. Let me stop right here. Please go to my community page to take the Brian Kohlberger poll pertaining to, did he know that the police was on his trail when he was at his house in Pennsylvania, dividing up things in plastic bags, which makes no sense to me, but this sounds like a very guilty person. I don't think this is something about a person being OCD. I think he knew that the police were on his trail when he got pulled over 2 times on his travels to Pennsylvania. Please take that poll on my community page. But back to Sarah Boone. You do hear now the detectives say he did have bruising on his head, skull. So I was, I guess, right in my conversation I made in the last live. So I was trying to listen carefully to everything because this is a very winded interrogation, 2 hours. So we've got bruising, scratches on her back. I mean, she attributes that to sex. Scratch on the neck, all recent, this detective says. We also hear now bruising on the forehead and the skull. Where did these bruises come from? If they're asserting that it happened the night of the crime, that he was in this suitcase, how did he get them? Did he fall, bump himself? Was he inebriated at the time he got into the suitcase? How long did she film him in the suitcase? See, there's 1,000 questions you can ask. What made her decide to walk off, go to sleep? Was she actually tired when she left him in the suitcase? Did she actually go to bed? What time did she go to bed? Did she ever go back and check on him in the suitcase and he was dead? She took his pulse, checked his chest, and zipped him back up and went back to doing whatever. A lot of questions. Thank you for joining me.
Right? What you said that was
I'll say a few weeks, give or take, yeah.
a few weeks. That was the last physical altercation between the two of you. A month ago, it was a curtain rod.
Yeah, it was a curtain rod. That's why I can't believe you guys didn't take that either.
Last altercation was a month before this interrogation. He hit her with a curtain rod. Is that true? There are allegations of abuse between both, battering one another. They have police records on both participants, battering one another. Why did she stay with Mr. Jorge? Why did he stay with her? Why were these two together? How did it come to be she walked off from this suitcase? Very interesting information.
We've been good. I don't know if, it's since the last time he got out of jail. We've been good, and he's been having his classes and seeing his probation officer, who's amazing. So.
What do you mean by good? What's your definition of good?
The probation officer?
No, you said you guys have been good. What's your definition?
I've been good. I don't think you all understand. He comes at me all the time. He comes at me. So it's either I flee or try to go upstairs and go to sleep. That's usually what it is. I don't know if you talked to Brian about any of that, but most of the time when I flee, I go over there. So.
Right, but you're saying that you guys have been good.
So who is Brian? Who is this Brian person? I go over there to sleep. Who is Brian? A friend? Acquaintance? What is his role in this saga? She says usually Jorge was the one that was instigating the fights. She would go to sleep, try to flee him and go to bed or go somewhere else. So this is a sign of it's time to leave him alone. Because if you ever have to leave your house in a domestic situation, then that means it's time to forfeit the relationship. I think we all know this. But some reason she stayed with him. You also hear her mention about him going to jail, getting out of jail. He was fine the last time he got out of jail. What was the charge that got him into jail in the first place? I showed you a picture of him, the decedent. He was very frail looking in the picture. I don't know what type of photo it was, but he looked very frail. So was he on drugs? Because I'd like to know what his last charge was. How long was he in jail? What was the charge? And why is she continually staying with a person who is, one, battering her, also going to jail? Was the jail for battery or any other charges? Why be with this person? Because he looks sickly to me. And it's no disrespect to the dead or any family members, but that's just my assertion to the photograph I saw of him. He looked very frail. That was a photograph that you will see in that live I did the other day via the News Nation commentary. He looked very frail in that picture. Now, how did he look when he was in a suitcase? I do not know. But was he underweight? Is he normally a thin person? So you have to ask all those questions. Well, Lee, the police has been involved with these people. That's the point I'm making. She obviously wanted to stay with this man. Make it work. I don't know why. We all do foolish things, as we've come to learn.
And when I asked you yesterday, there hasn't the last incident that you could remember was the curtain rod incident, which you said was a month ago. So,
give or take.
Right. So what do you mean by he comes after you?
He gets belligerently drunk.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you all have looked through my phone yet and seen any of the pictures and the videos that I have taken. And at one point, I started documenting everything.
Okay.
So you all will see in my pictures, bloody fingers, split foreheads, he split my nose. I've got this.
Right.
I don't know if Brian told you about it, where I had to have almost I had one really bad surgery, but then it got really, 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 really bad where I had to go like 4 or 5 more times afterwards for them to tend to it. And then poking me in the back of the leg.
Right.
So
Will this be her defense? She has photos, videos of the decedent abusing her, hitting her. Cracked forehead, busted lip. This shows a pattern. How many videos and pictures does she have in her phone of abuse by the alleged decedent? Because they may be able to use this. She was tired of him. He had been beating her. She just snapped on this fateful night and decided not to unzip her boyfriend out of the suitcase. And we already know that it's preferable that in the incident of being abused, you fight back. You possibly won't face a murder charge or assault charge. You're fighting your attacker off. But because she filmed it, that's what doomed her. You hear her talking about them going to her phone to find pictures, videos of her being abused by him. She's got evidence. That's the same phone they found that dumb video she filmed. That's what hung her. It's the video that is now viral, on social media of him being in the suitcase and him pleading for life. Please, Sarah, open the suitcase. Let me out. Come on, babe. Sarah said, no, we're not having it. You're going to stay in there. And that's why we now have a dead man and we have a woman locked up for murder.
Then why are you still listening?
everybody asks me that. When I tell you guys this, I really love him. Like I do. And I feel like I can help him. Like I feel like I could help him, which I did because he came a really long way from where he was in Philadelphia to moving back to here and to dealing with everything else that he's been dealing with. I've really helped him. I bailed him out of jail, 3 times. I've gone to every single hearing and every single arraignment, everything that I did for him. Gone to see all his public defenders, go to the state. I've gone to the state. I did everything for him because I'm trying to help him because I had hope in him. And he was trying. He was really trying. And then he starts to think about.
Is she acting here? Is Sarah Boone acting? I did all these things for him. Bailed him out of jail 3 times, went to court hearings, met with public defenders, had hope, faith he'd change. What were his charges? Why did this woman subject herself to being with a person who couldn't stay out of jail? Also battering her. She's battering him. She also has a boy child. Do not know if he's the father of the child. Who has that child? Who has custody of that said boy child? Why subject yourself and your child to an abusive relationship? Running in and out of the court system, dealing with him and plus yourself. At what point do you say, I am good enough. I'm worthy. This is not the kind of life I had planned for myself. You see, this is what happens when you get tangled up with the wrong kind of people. You end up in situations you had not planned to be in, such as going through the court systems, running to the jails, bailing people out, putting money on commissary. Now you're having to bail your own damn self out because you're beating up the person yourself, retaliating, however it goes. And then one could say she liked it. She had to like it to be immersed in the situation with them to where it got to where she filmed them in the suitcase. The ultimate revenge, was it not? Payback so you know what. Yeah, I'm going to watch you squirm because I'm sick of your ass. I've been dealing with you too long. I'm exhausted. I'm burnt out. You're not trying to change. You don't want anything. Or is she also part of the problem? Is she known to be belligerent drunk? You hear her mention that he was a belligerent drunk? So was she also a drinker? You'll hear her basically downplay her being a drinker during this this video. But what's the truth? Because we know that people do not tell the truth to law enforcement when being interrogated. That's a given. Should she have had an attorney while speaking to law enforcement? So a lot of people will judge you. You talk without a lawyer, they think, well, you have nothing to hide. You go get a lawyer, people will judge you and say, oh, you must be guilty. Why you go get a lawyer? You don't have anything to hide. But we know the law itself is tricky. And this is why they ask you the 1,001 questions, because they want to trip you up. And this is why they tell you to always get a lawyer. For that very reason. Because you're going to hear that also during this commentary, that her statements were contradictory. Sorry about that. Got a little distracted there. Hold on a second. Is she acting during this interrogation? That's the question. Was she fed up with the boyfriend?
And then he starts to think about things, and I think he gets overwhelmed, and then it's like, next thing you know, he's drinking. So it's like, oh man, I know where this is going to go, so I'm going to go upstairs and read a book, or I'm going to go for a bike ride, or I'm going to do something else, or I don't want to drink. I don't want to drink. The occasional wine, whatever, or if it's a weekend, that's when you have a good time. You don't have to wake up the next day. I have to wake up the next day and do things. I have to tend to Lucas. I have to take him to school. I have all this stuff to do. He doesn't know how to, I guess, maintain himself, where I can do 50 things at once and still know the 50 things more prior that I need to get done. He can't process like that. He didn't process like that. So he would literally, not literally, but have smoke coming out of his ears. So the next thing you know, he doesn't want to deal with it. I'm going to go get something to drink. So the majority of the time, I would hang out outside or do something else because I don't want to drink. And every time, his job broke his heart. And it made me sad because he had so much pride in his job. And the store that he took care of so much totally went downhill. Mm-hmm. And that broke his heart because he had put so much work and effort into fixing it up. And his manager was awful and basically gave up on all of the employees. So I think that had a huge bearing on why he would drink so much. His ex-wife is bonkers. Mm-hmm. She was all over him all the time. Send me money, send me money, send me money. How can I send you money when I don't have a job? And he's still trying to take care of me and Lucas by paying a bill here or there, getting some groceries. So he always had something on his mind.
Now you hear her talking about his ex-wife, Jorge's ex-wife, always on him, riding him. What was this woman allegedly riding him about? I do believe he has children. He's left behind children. Perhaps these children belong to this certain woman that Sarah is speaking about. But you also hear that he couldn't hold his weight. He couldn't think for himself. He couldn't process things because he was an alleged drunk, alcoholic. Was he also imbibing drugs? But he couldn't help her pay bills. As you hear her say, he paid a bill here or there with me. So how is he going to help her pay bills? The ex-wife. Very good question. So that question is going to also be asked, Sarah Boone. Why would you want a man that can't keep a job? Won't work, goes in and out of jail. You're having to bond him out, your own choice. Running to the jail, courtroom dilemmas. Why immerse yourself and your child in that lifestyle if you're not accustomed to that lifestyle? You want us to believe that love was so prevalent between you two, you were willing to just throw yourself into the abyss in chasing behind this alcoholic man who couldn't hold down a job, couldn't function as a normal civilian, and also stayed in trouble with the law. See, the signs were there in the beginning. And I think we all have seen the signs of situations that were not good. We were not good for this person. They were not good for us, but we continued to chase in behind them, keep trying to call, talk, be there for them, support them, but they don't want our support, because you would think at some point when a person sees that they are detriment to themselves, they would try to do better for self, because self is first. Self-preservation is first. Self is always first. It should be. So Jorge couldn't take care of himself. So he could not take care of Sarah Boone, her boy child, or his other children. He was a detriment to himself, but yet Sarah continued to ride the ride. Why? Now she's in jail, no bond for this heinous crime. What is the defense? As I said, those pictures and videos, her lawyer will possibly use them as battered woman syndrome, who just cracked one fateful night while the boyfriend climbed into the suitcase. Thank you for joining me.
Always had something on his mind, which is why, again, I got the puzzles and the bank.
Brief commercial break. Thank you for joining me. Give me your thoughts in the chat. Is she guilty or not?
I got the puzzles and the bank to try to get him off of it so we don't have a drink, or he doesn't have a drink. So when you all see my phone, you can see all of the damage he has done to me and the videos of him smashing my television because he's belligerently drunk. Or most of the time, I just don't want to be there. And I try to help him. I try to calm him down. Eventually, he just passes out.
Well, yesterday it made it sound like you guys were just drinking like a glass or two. Like, yeah, you obviously had the bottle, but you told me on recording, like, that you were not drunk, he was not drunk, you guys were having a good time.
I can't get drunk. Number one, I do not want to get drunk. I don't like being non-compos mentis, having my wits about myself. I don't like feeling out of control.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm just saying, you're making it sound like he's a raging alcoholic today, and yesterday I was kind of asking you those questions, and you're like a little defensive, like, no, we're not alcoholics. I'm not. You're not, you know. But you guys were both sober on Sunday, to your knowledge, because when I said you went and passed out, you were like, no, I didn't pass out, I just fell asleep. So now it's kind of like, what is it? Were you guys drinking and it got out of hand? And
see, this is why you have to be careful the terminology you use. Passed out does not necessarily mean she was drunk. She may just use that as a terminology. I passed out, or I went to sleep. So you hear the correction. I went to sleep. So was she and Jorge drunk at the time that he climbed into the suitcase? That's the question. Will the autopsy show that he was inebriated at the time of death? Had he eaten food? So you have to ask all those questions. Where was her son while all this mess was going on this fateful night of them playing hide and go seek, painting, drinking? One bottle of wine. I can't see two people getting drunk off a bottle of wine. Not the standard size wine bottle anyway. And if he's a known alcoholic, or she, that one bottle of wine between two would not get both participants drunk, in my opinion.
Were you guys drinking and it got out of hand and it got physical?
No.
Or is it...
Sunday was one of the better days that we have had in quite some time. He's dancing with my dog. You can see that too on the pictures, him loving the dog. He loves the dog and dancing around, having a good time, and just being happy kind of thing. He doesn't know. I can get like maybe 2-3 glasses of wine and I'll be fine. But I have to have my wits about myself because I don't know what to expect.
Well, let's talk about Sunday. What was Sunday? How were you? Like, how many glasses of wine did you have? How many glasses of wine did he have? The bottle was gone. I mean, I don't know if you poured any out. Yeah.
No, that was from previous.
You said that there was a half bottle left over.
Mm-hmm.
And then that you had went. I don't even know how the wine. How'd you guys get the wine for Sunday?
I'm guessing he went to Publix.
Does he like leave the house and you stay home, or do you go to Publix? Like, cause
Sometimes I'll go with him.
Okay. Did you go with him Sunday to Publix?
So most of the time what happens is, because the convenience store where we get cigarettes is here, and then Publix literally is cattywampus to it.
Okay.
So what he'll do is he'll go by Publix, and then on the way back, catch the convenience store.
Okay.
So
is that what he did Sunday?
I'm guessing that's what he did, because the next thing I know, he's walking in with a bottle.
Okay.
So it's him trying to be nice, so I don't have to go out and do it. Plus, there's stuff that are around the house that I had to take care of. So that's usually what will happen. Or I'm folding laundry and he'll go run out and do whatever.
Okay. So, where were you guys at on drunkenness, not drunkenness on Sunday? You told us you weren't drunk.
No, I was not drunk.
Right.
I was not drunk. So with him, I don't know. I know when it's like, oh, okay, man, where I have told him, slow down. It's starting to catch up with you. Slow down. Slow down. And another thing, too, is I don't like listening to music with him, because he gets too involved in the music, and the music that he listens to is a little rough around the edges, and like just...
You hear her talking about music. So did Jorge listen to rap? Is that where she's going? Because she doesn't say it. He gets wrapped up in the music. The music is rough around the edges. Well, that can only be two types of music. That would either be hard rock or rap music. Which is it? Maybe both. The detective asked her what states she and Jorge were in on that Sunday. Were both of you drunk or not? She said she doesn't like to get drunk. She drinks, but she doesn't want to get drunk because she wants to have her wits about herself. Is she telling the truth in this interrogation? Is she also an alcoholic? How about that? Could it be that both were alcoholics at the time of his death? Has she been lying during this interrogation? That possibly she was drunk as well when Jorge climbed inside of that suitcase. Has she been known to be an alcoholic herself? Because those are the claims she's making here in this interrogation about the decedent, that he was known to be a belligerent. Get belligerent, stay drunk, didn't have self-control, couldn't do anything. So now people are going to wonder, well, why would you be with this person? One, he couldn't help you out. One, he has a problem with alcohol. He stays in trouble with the law. Why would you want this person around yourself and your children? He really was of no use to you. Now, she claims that they were happy at the time this information comes out of his death, but you'll hear the condescending tone from both detectives. Well, it couldn't have been too happy in this house, because how did he end up dead to where you wouldn't unlock the suitcase? So what turned from he was happy playing with the dog, he loves the dog, to her not unzipping the suitcase? So basically, her words are contradictory. Depends on your perception.
A little rough around the edges, and like just, it makes me fractious listening to his music. So I kept asking him, let's just you and me talk. You and me will just be the ones that are talking, which was fine, because I mean, we were playing with the dog, whatever, and then it's like, okay, now let's do the painting. We just did the puzzle, took a break, now let's do this. Sure enough, sat down. We're sitting in there talking, laughing, talking about new movies. We're watching movie trailers while we're doing painting and all that other stuff. So it's still background noise to him, because I think that's what he's used to, is having background noise. Where me, I can sit in here all day with not a peep. But he always has to have some kind of background noise, which I didn't mind because the trailers were cool. And he was interested in showing them to me, getting excited about movies that were out or upcoming.
Okay.
So
on your laptop you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay.
And I mean, and then it was...
But you said it was a good day, like, you guys didn't have any...
That should hold it for now.
Sorry about that. They were having a good day, but yet he ends up dead. What happened? Why did this lady turn on him? Or did she not turn on him? She actually fell asleep, but she filmed it. And she's cursing him using the F-bomb while he's asking her to unzip him, which shows there was some type of animosity or ill will at that time of filming. Is she just putting on in this interrogation? Just talking to fill up the space when maybe she should have just told them, I've talked enough. You sound condescending in your tone and your questions. I'd like to end this. And then this would have been the point when they would have just went on and told her, well, we believe you did kill him and you're under arrest. Because let's be truthful, 2 hours of this going on and on, I think you already know the end result of this video. Thank you for your time.
Have any conversations about your relationship? You guys didn't go down like the rabbit hole, like had too many to drink, and you guys start getting...
Nope. When I tell you this, it made me so happy that he actually listened to what I had to say with just, we'll get through it. This will be fine. It's a small hurdle that you and I together will get through because...
I'm talking about the money, jobs, stress.
Yes.
Nothing relationship-wise, though. Like, no issues. Like, did you guys have a conversation about your relationship, or was it just about like
what's going on right now?
Got it.
I try to evoke it from him so he gets it off his chest because I call him the volcano, where eventually he's going to erupt.
Right.
And what he has learned in his classes is to communicate, which is a huge thing in a relationship, where he has been practicing communication. So he actually talks to me about things and unburdens himself. Put it on me. I'll sit there and try and figure it out for you. Like I have almost everything. Not a worry. Just tell me. Get it out of you.
Right.
But it was, when I tell you, I was so happy. Like it was such a good day. I kid you not. The weather was beautiful outside. I'm the one that had him go inside so we can do puzzles and painting and listen to music or whatever else he wants to do. So then he starts doing whatever it is we're doing together in the living room and then starts talking because I think he gets comfortable with, okay, you know what? We're here. It is a good day. Let me go ahead and explain myself. So I know. Nobody else knows, but I know. Nobody knew George better than I did. I say that I knew George better than himself. And I tried in every way, shape, and form. Ask everyone. I helped him. I took care of him. I miss him a lot, and I didn't even sleep last night. I miss him a lot.
I mean, is there any chance it got to be too much for you and you couldn't handle taking care of him and
I never stopped.
trying to...
I never stopped. That's what I'm here for. I never stopped. I'm here now because I'm still trying to help him.
Yeah, we just don't... I mean, it's unexplainable how he got these injuries, and
I have no idea.
you were the only one with him.
100% right hand to God. I have no idea how he got them. Nobody touched anybody. Nobody touched anybody.
You had mentioned that you would take photos, videos, just kind of like a proof and just in general.
Yeah, I started documenting at one point, but that was way before, I think the last time that he got arrested, where he was flying off the deep end.
Okay.
But then I had him bailed out. I got him out of jail.
Right.
But because he had violated the pretrial diversion, this time it's probation, so you don't have a choice in it. You have to go see your probation officer. You have to go to these classes. It's court ordered.
Mm-hmm.
Where it took him a while to get used to it and understand, they're not messing around. I even went down and met his probation officer, which I say she's wonderful. That's one of my questions too I need to talk to you about. Hugged me and said how much she knows that I take care of him. She called me personally one time when George was at work, when he was working. 42-minute phone call. She and I just saying how grateful she is that George has me. And she knows how hard I'm working to help him, just as she is and just as the classes will. So once he started actually going on a regular basis to the probation officer and then to his substance abuse class and his, I don't know what VIP stands for, Batterers Intervention.
Well, we now have it here. 19 minutes in. She admits he used substances. What were the substances? Crack, cocaine, meth, fentanyl, heroin, pills. What was Jorge using? How long was he a user? You see, she's landing on very thick inside of this interrogation about her dealings with the public defenders, probation officers, 42-minute phone calls, hugging the woman, thanking her, blah, 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 blah. One would say this is grandstanding. She's putting on for these detectives, but they have a surprise for her. This is why I don't understand why possibly she didn't get an attorney. Because she had to have known once she walked in and started getting the questions, they were not going in her favor. A bail should have gone off. Okay, I see where this is going. I think I need to stop talking. But she continues to talk. But that's the gist of this interrogation. They want what they always want. They want a confession because they can go up to that bulletin board and put the check mark, case closed. That's the whole purpose of interrogating you, is to close the case. Just like you see on TV, the bulletin board with the name of the victim. And they want to check it off so they can be done. And then the rest is on the state's attorney's office and 12 members of a jury. Sarah should have gotten a lawyer. Because the lawyer would have then been wrangling with the state to let her know that they want to arrest you for the murder of your boyfriend. Second-degree murder. And the fact she had no bond, I found that strange. Very strange. Because even the worst of killers have gotten bonds. People who have stayed in trouble with the law, violated probation, so on and so forth. They're free on bond. So why not Sarah Boone? It's an interesting question. Why not? Why not give her a bond?
Better intervention program. And actually listening to what it is everyone had to say, he changed. Like I could see a change in him. Where before lashing out, he would think about it. And would always come home and show me his papers. And we would look over his papers together. Where it's like, wow, you actually are learning this in class? And some of the stuff that they would show them, like videos, he would come home and be like, Sarah, I'm so sorry for what I've done to you. Because for a video that he watches to make him feel that way, where it's like, oh man, I have done her wrong. But he's changed. He changed.
And that's why you're still with him, even though he's done all these things to you. And
when I tell you I love him, I love him.
And when you have,
after all he's done to you, you're still with him. She says yes, although he's dead at this time of this conversation. You also hear her speak in the present tense, not past. So what's the truth? She does not say, I loved him. She says, I love him, but he's dead. And she's accused of murdering him after the fact, after this interrogation. So did she just want him to suffer a bit in that suitcase? Let him squirm a little bit. So what was the jump off if they were having such a great day, sunny outside, he was playing with the dog, hide and go seek, puzzles, drinking wine, listening to music. What the hell happened in that apartment for her to say, hell no, I ain't opening that suitcase? Because she's saying, F you, that's on you. When he says he can't breathe, that was pretty cold when she said that. I was kind of taken aback by that comment. Did she want him to just suffer because she was sick of him? Somebody said something out of the way that night? What did he say to her for her to just switch up? Because here in the court, in this interrogation, she's basically acting like everything was great that day. But we know now that something was awry that fateful evening. What did Jorge say to her? For her to say, I ain't unzipping this suitcase. I'm sick of his you know what. I'm going to make this SOB pay for every battery, nasty comment, cheating on me. Because she also mentions that while he's in the suitcase. When he says, I can't breathe, she said, yeah, that's how I felt when you were cheating on me. Wow, that's deep. She felt like she couldn't breathe when her boyfriend was cheating on her. But one would say, Sarah, you could have walked away scot-free and clear, found you somebody else to take up your time with. You're a woman, you're a mother. Why were you wasting your time on a junkie/drunk and a batterer? For what reason? What was the reason for staying with Jorge, but then watching him take his last breath in a suitcase? Will we find out that she watched him to the very last minute he stopped squirming in the suitcase? Will we find out she watched him all the way up till he stopped moving in that suitcase? And then she went upstairs. Wouldn't that be something to find out? It'd also be devastating to find out she opened the suitcase and looked at a dead man lie there and then zipped him back up and went upstairs to do her business, go to sleep, and then came down and played the role of finding him deceased in that case. But you'll hear later her saying he was gurgling. So I'm trying to figure out, how did he hold on to breath for 12 hours or so in a suitcase? Use your discernment.
And when you love somebody, you have limits.
Everybody tells me that. All my neighbors tell me that. The office, property manager.
At some point, somebody gets enough, and they have to do something to defend themselves.
I would just flee, and I don't know if you would like to see it on my phone, or I think it's actually on a laptop. And you have to understand too, I have, prior to classes in PO, kicked him out. How many times? I had him arrested. How many times?
But you also went down and bailed him
I know.
the next day.
I know.
What's on your laptop?
What was I going to tell you? Oh, previously, I actually looked up how to file a restraining order.
Okay.
Because I would take him out, his parents, because of them constantly having to take him back in, his bags of clothes, all his stuff. The last time, the father came out and irate and just I don't even know if he knew Lucas was in the car. Just opened the back of my car and just started throwing all his crap in, just throwing it. Like the car would jostle, he was throwing all his stuff. At that point, because I continually did it, not continually, I think I maybe did it 3 times, and he has nowhere else to go, they got fed up and said, nope, either you're staying there or you're staying here. But if you're staying here at their place, it's permanent. You're not going back over there anymore. So what happens is, he pursues me. So I don't know if y'all know where Katie Way Trail is. Okay, so it's literally right there from our apartment. Would ride his bike to work, but before he would leave extra early and come up to the wall, stand on top of his bike and poke his head over because he would know that I would be outside having my morning cigarette and cup of coffee. And I would also know too what time he would get off of work, where I would know, come getting off of work, he's going to do the same thing. So it's not like I ever got a break from him, where I told you all yesterday, or whatever it was, I started to feel that it was too much togetherness. And when you have too much togetherness, friction happens. So I'm going to go ride my bike. I'm going to go upstairs and read a book. But every waking moment, he wants to be with me. So, and mind you, our townhome is either upstairs or downstairs. So it's like, if you would like to sit downstairs and watch a movie or play on the laptop, look at some jobs, you're more than welcome to. I'm just going to be upstairs maybe watching one of my shows or maybe reading a book. So, and then when that would happen, we really needed that. So what's for dinner? And then we would cook together and eat dinner and then crawl in the bed and watch a movie.
Are you talking about this is recent? You kind of lost me. What are you?
It was a little while ago.
But now you're talking about tension building up and that you need space. So
this conversation makes no sense to me. You're talking about separating, needing space, upstairs, downstairs. So I thought she was going to take it to, he was getting ready to fly off the handle because she didn't want to spend time with him. But then she goes on to start talking about, then we go on and make dinner together. I don't know where she's going in this interrogation. I think there's probably something wrong with Sarah as well. I think the decedent had troubles with substance abuse and alcohol abuse, anger management, battery, and I also believe that Sarah's not equipped upstairs mentally, because when you listen to her speak here, she's all over the place. And she's possibly all over the place because she does have something wrong with her mentally too. And the fact she's trying to tell anything she can to get her out of this mess that she knows she's sinking into the abyss. Now, maybe she thought she was just answering questions and let me throw out all I can so I can get the hell out of this room. But I think you know the end result of this interrogation. It's the reason why I'm playing it. Did she have any idea she was going to get arrested after speaking with the police in this interrogation? Or did she think she was just going to give the information, explain their relationship, explain what happened on that fateful Sunday, explain what happened when she found him the next morning or the next afternoon, and she was going to walk out of this interrogation? I will post that to my community board when I'm done with this live stream. Did Sarah Boone think she was going to walk free out of this interrogation? Thank you for joining me. This is the Vault XL. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $DeGandy, 129 Cash App. All stickers and chats are welcome during this live stream. Thank you for your time. Welcome all new subs and viewers.
I heard you're talking about tension building up and that you need space. So have you been feeling that way lately, or?
No.
Okay.
No. Okay, my thing is too, so you all know, I hate that you can't talk to her, but Dee, his ex-wife, when I say a monster, she's a monster. Like, she withholds their children from speaking to him. So he gets upset about that.
Recordings just got
Sorry about that brief intermission. Jenny in the chat says she thinks that she was going to leave. Well, interesting, very interesting.
And then she's like completely berates him about money, about the father that he is, what he did to her, all this other stuff. It doesn't matter. I mean, mind you, this is not like been recent, but which is why he didn't even bother calling anymore, because he knows that she's going to answer and he's going to have to talk to her, so therefore he can't talk to his daughter. The other time he talked to her, made her talk to Cookie. That's on my cell phone too, so you can see it. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter.
What does she have to do, though, with anything about what happened Sunday and into Monday?
No, I'm just saying.
You hear that?
Previously,
Okay.
why the incidents, what happened is she plays a big part in it.
Okay.
On top of job and money and groceries and all that.
Okay.
Sunday, when I tell you this, I have no idea. I have no idea.
Is there anybody else at the house?
No, it's just me and him.
Since talking yesterday, do you remember any timelines better? Like what time you guys were playing? What time he was zipped up in the luggage?
You see, she's all over the place. Detective was asking her basically, what does the ex-wife have to do with what happened on that Sunday? She's basically trying to just lay out. She's part of the reasons, I guess, he had the issues he had financially, blah, 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 which really don't have anything to do with why he's not paying bills at your house, Sarah. He's a grown man. He's living there. He should be providing for you and your son. Where was the son during this crime? Where was Sarah's son? Who had physical custody of him at that time? Where was he visiting, spending the night, whichsoever, on this Sunday? I really want to know this. Did she ask Jorge to get into the suitcase? Because she says he climbed in on his own. He liked to play a lot, jokester. They got a quirky relationship. Will we find out she asked? Because she planned it. What if we find out she planned this whole scenario? Gonna drink. Hopefully he gets pissy drunk. Gonna ask him, hey, honey, get in the suitcase. I want to see you get in there. He stupidly got in there. Voila. He's trapped. Did she ask him to get in the suitcase? What really happened? Because, see, in the end, Jorge's not here to tell us that he climbed in or he was asked to get in the suitcase.
luggage? What time you
I
went
told you.
upstairs?
We started because we cleaned the house a little bit, did some laundry.
You started the activities around 4, you said?
Yes, around 4:30ish, and then.
You just said that it was dark when you were playing hide and seek, and I'm just curious if you remember.
But when we were outside, that's where we would start and talk about things, and then eventually I was the one that had to come inside. So we.
At what time, do you remember what time that was, is what she's asking.
And you said you went up to bed around midnight, fell asleep around 12:30ish. But those were the only times I have. So I have 4 and I have midnight. So there's a big gap. So I'm just curious, like, if you recall when you went upstairs to hide in the shower, or
like when we started to play hide and seek.
Yeah.
Well, we went inside.
Do you believe this version of hide and seek? I don't know too many adults that play hide and seek. Many of us played this game as children. But how many of you in the viewing audience has played hide and seek as an adult? I can't see your hands raised, but you can always put yes or no in the chat. Is this made up by Sarah Boone? Or did she and Jorge have this quirky type relationship of playing hide and go seek as adults? She's going to hide in the shower. Is that just like a cute little game of come find me, we take a shower together? What are we talking about here? I guess what we should really be asking, who is Sarah Boone? Who is she? Who's going to testify on her behalf in court to verify she was abused by the boyfriend, her disposition, the type of person she was, a nice lady who just got tangled up with the wrong guy. She lost her way and fell into the abyss on this fateful Sunday night by not unzipping her boyfriend out of the suitcase. Who is Sarah Boone? Where's her son? How does her son feel about his mommy being locked up in jail for murder? This is a very diabolical case. Law and Crime Network is the source.
We went inside probably about half a day. We weren't out there too long. Maybe about 6-ish. Then.
You're talking about from hanging out outside and like.
Okay. Well, we have 2 beach chairs that are out there.
Right.
Just enjoy the weather.
Gotcha.
Plus, it's starting to get dark and gnats and mosquitoes.
Yeah.
So, let's go inside. I don't want to be out here anymore.
Okay.
All right, let's go. So, we're doing whatever. We did it for a while because that puzzle, I don't know if they took it or they saw it. Worked on the puzzle again, finished it. Started to paint. Well, started listening to music for a little bit. Started to paint. Can we turn the music off? No problem. Start at the top, paint, whatever. Maybe, gosh, that puzzle, we worked on that for probably a good hour and a half. So 8 o'clock-ish
is when you went to hide upstairs originally?
No, that's when we were like painting. So then it's like, okay, well, I don't want to paint anymore. Let's just, come on. Okay, you want to play hide and seek? What he does is, okay, tag, you're it. Which it's like, okay, we know. Okay, take off.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we did.
And then you went upstairs, and then he didn't come up, and you came down, and the suitcase was there originally because you guys were planning to do donations, so it was already there. Have you guys ever played you said you played hide and seek like probably 3 times in your relationship?
Mm-hmm.
When you have played, have you ever zipped him up in a suitcase prior?
No.
Okay. So it was just kind of like that prop was there, and it was there,
yes.
And it was in play because...
Why do you say it like that, though?
I would never do that.
You would never zip them up in a suitcase?
Well, I mean, we were playing.
No, I know,
but
I'm saying, I'm talking about hide and seek, which is a game, so...
The suitcase originally is in our closet, buried all the way to the back. I know the CSI people saw our closet. Our closet needs to be cleaned out really bad. My son's clothes need to be cleaned out really bad because they don't fit him anymore, and I'm tired of looking at them. So he took it upon himself, including that suitcase, to take it downstairs so we can get all of our clothes, our donations, and everything, and just leave the whole thing by the clothing and shoe thing at my son's school.
No, we're just...
How many pats on the head and people
Sorry
telling
about that.
you
A lot of explanations. Truth or not, I don't know.
No, I'm just asking, in the past, like, have you ever zipped him up in anything, jokingly or not? But obviously, I understand, you're claiming that Sunday it was a joking matter. You were laughing, he was laughing. But what I'm just asking is in the past, like, is it something that you guys normally do?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
We were actually this last game running out of places to hide because we have a townhome where it's upstairs or downstairs. So.
Okay, so do you remember making any videos or maybe having any photos, videos that you remember doing on your phone on Sunday? No?
I think I took a picture of a dog.
Okay. But your phone is password protected. You have the password. He has the face.
Listen very carefully to this question. Do you remember taking any photos, videos on that Sunday on your phone? She answers no. This is where Sarah would be literally using the bathroom in her pants. If you get my drift. This is where she should have stopped the questions by law enforcement. But she's going to ride this ride all the way out foolishly. This is a very disturbing interrogation.
Facial recognition, so it's not like someone else could be on your phone.
No, I have both.
But you have the face and the password.
Yes.
Yeah, but he only has the face, correct?
No.
To be able to get onto your phone, you told me that he looks at the phone.
Oh, I misunderstood. I thought you were asking me if I did. Yes, it's me.
Okay. Does he have access to your phone? Because you said it's your phone. Okay, how does he have access?
Sarah, can I borrow your phone? Yeah, it's right there on the kitchen counter.
Okay, but how does he get into it? Because it's password protected.
He'll come and get it to me, and I'll just do the face thing. Where sometimes too, like he'll joke with me and say, "Okay, I need to borrow your phone." He'll hold it while I'm cooking or something, do the facial recognition.
Okay, so he doesn't know the password and he doesn't have the facial recognition. No, he is the only other person that would use your phone. I'm assuming other.
Well, Lucas.
Right, but Lucas wasn't there Sunday. Right. So, to your recollection, no videos on Sunday.
Not that I'm aware of.
Lord have mercy.
I mean,
What a mess.
I maybe took a picture of them, the two of Tess and the dogs, and George and them dancing. But I mean, it's just Tess.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I have something that I want to show you that we found, and it was from your phone. Mm-hmm. You see it?
Can you move it around? Go ahead.
She's showing her something on the computer,
For everything you've done to me.
on the laptop.
For everything you've done to me.
Your battery's not flash.
Shut it down.
Oh. Okay.
Let me.
The battery doesn't last very long.
It used to last a lot longer than that. I don't know what happened.
Okay. Let me just grab something.
All right.
All right, I'm going to pause there. Detective has stepped out of the room. I think they're trying to charge the laptop or whatever. During this part of the video, it's at 31 minutes, 15 seconds timestamp. It's just she and the male detective sitting in the room, the laptop open on the table. At this point, Sarah should be ready to fall apart because she should know what they're getting ready to show her. And many of you who have followed this content, you know exactly what's on that computer screen. It is Jorge inside of that infamous suitcase while Sarah is either sitting on a sofa or a chair talking to him while he's pleading for her to open it up. This is diabolical. Yes, indeed. Well, she should have known they were going to find it. She should have known when she filmed it. She had ample enough time to erase that video. But as we know with forensics on cell phones, there is no erasing anything. You can erase all your apps. You can erase your text messages, your conversations. But they can find what you have looked into, Google searches, dark web, text messages, phone calls coming in, going out. All that's deeply buried into your cell phone. It can be retrieved. And people continue to commit crimes using their phones as if that information can never be found. And this is how stupid Sarah is. You know, another Koiberger, just dumb. You filmed somebody dying in a suitcase, and you filmed it, and you didn't think that they were not going to search your phone, the police. You didn't think they were not going to find this video. I don't know if she tried to delete it or not, Jenny. But the point is, it wouldn't matter if she deleted it or not. They still were going to go in to do the deep dive. And that's what they pay the forensics to do, is to do a deep dive of your phone, your laptop, your devices. Everybody knows this now. Anybody using a cell phone should know things can be retrieved from your phone. Let's go ahead and get this interrogation on.
I was just simply asking because you had a look on your face when she asked you if you've ever done that before. You looked kind of shocked. And,
No,
okay, but why did you say it like that? Like,
I don't think you all understand who I am.
well, tell me.
I mean, I've always been a straight A student. I am an outstanding mother to my son. I excel at everything. I would not do that.
You wouldn't zip somebody in a suitcase?
Well, I didn't completely lock it. I mean, I opened it with one finger. I left enough in there for him to get out. And I wasn't planning on going upstairs and...
This is very pivotal. This is why you have to re-listen to things. The suitcase had to have been locked from the outside. So if there's only two people in the house, see, this is where they trap her. You filmed it. Nobody else in the house to use your phone, facial recognition, password. So that only leaves you, Sarah Boone, to operate the phone, number one. Number two, the victim inside of the suitcase. He couldn't have locked himself in there. So that means he either climbed in on his own, number three, or four, you put him in there. Either incapacitated, knocked out, whatsoever. How did it go? Because you hear it, he climbed in. But the thing we don't think about is the obvious. How would the suitcase close itself? How would he be able to zip it up even if he willingly climbed in? Bingo card. Because he couldn't. He would need someone to zip it up. And you hear her say just now, I left enough room for him to open the suitcase. But when you hear the detectives talk about that alleged hole or more, it was non-existent on the suitcase. Thank you, Jeannie, so much. It was non-existent. So that means Jorge had no way to lock himself in the suitcase by zipper and unzip himself out of the suitcase. So either way, Sarah is trapped in the trap. You zipped him up whether he climbed in on his own or not, number one. Number two, you would have to be the one to unzip him because it was zipped all the way up to where he had nowhere to stick his finger out to move the zipper. Thank you for joining me. This is the Vault XL.
Wasn't planning on going upstairs and going to sleep.
No, it's just the way you said it.
You guys are scaring me.
Sorry.
We just want you to watch this. This came from your phone. Don't you want to know what's on it?
Yes, please.
Sorry about that.
Is it long? Because I don't know how much I can take.
Don't you want to know what's on your phone? Well, you all know Sarah knows she filmed the video. She just wasn't expecting you to mention it. Retrieve it. Now you hear her say, I don't know, how long is it? I don't know how much of this I want to watch. Well, that's because, Sarah, you knew, excuse me, that they found the video of you filming Jorge in the suitcase. And you know you're now caught lying about not filming or taking any photos of that fateful night. So you're trapped. Your foot's in the trap. And you're caught. And whether you're a nice person or not, excelled in scholastics, great mother, that's not how they're viewing you at this moment pertaining to your boyfriend. You never put him in a suitcase. You never locked him in a suitcase. He's never climbed in a suitcase. But on this fateful night, he did get in there some type of way, zipped up. He pled for his life, and you never opened the suitcase. And now you have to watch your dirty deeds play back on a laptop in an interrogation room in a police station.
I don't know how much I can pay. Do I have to watch this? I continuously throw up. I don't sleep. I don't want to see it, if that's okay.
Well, it's on your phone, and you can either explain it or we take it for what it is.
Yeah. We're just trying to give you the opportunity to tell us what's going on. That's it.
It's that long?
2 minutes.
No, thanks.
For everything you did to me. For everything you did to me. Fuck you.
And
Fuck you.
that's you, your
Sarah.
voice.
Stupid. Sarah. That's my name. Don't wear it up. I can't walk away from it. Yeah, that's when you do it. It shows me.
How much time did you spend on me?
Sorry about that. Sarah, I can't breathe. She lets him know, oh, well, it's what it's like when you've done it to me. Woo! This is deep.
I don't want to watch it, please.
Last time we talked to you, you had said that you put him in the suitcase, you had 2 fingers hanging out.
I flipped him over. I flipped him over, and that's where it was.
There's 2 different videos and a still picture where, yeah, it shows you flipping in the different positions and him saying that he can't breathe and you saying fuck
So
you.
this is upside down. So in order for him to have gotten into it,
It was flipped up.
right, it was flipped up normal.
Yeah.
Like as if you're packing something. So this is upside down.
Guys, this is killing me right now.
So this image is upside down, and then this small video that occurred 11 minutes later, it's flipped over the other way, closer to your dining room table.
Okay.
Now he's obviously still in there. So he didn't, how did it go from the back to the front?
I flipped it.
Okay.
My plan was not to go upstairs and go to sleep.
Well, that's what you did.
Yeah.
So what's the deal with the photos and the video? 2-minute video and the flipping of the suitcase. What was the plan? Because I do remember that starting out, the suitcase looked like it was in a different angle. So, Sarah, what were you trying to prove by flipping the suitcase? Was it turned upright at one point, flipped down on its bottom? What? What was the purpose? Is this how he got the injuries to the shoulder? Because he would still be heavy, even if he was a lightweight person, still trying to lift a person, turning them upright over this side. I'm trying to understand what was the purpose of fumbling with the suitcase. Because common sense is that the suitcase had to be lying flat for him to crawl in to zip it up. So what was the purpose of this flipping of the suitcase? I'm curious. Will we even get the truth to that? I don't know. It's interesting she doesn't want to watch this because she knew that when they pulled the laptop out, what was on it, on the screen. She knew they found the video. So she was caught. Naturally, she doesn't want to watch it because she knows he died in that suitcase. And she also knew that she filmed him in the suitcase. And naturally, she didn't want to watch it. That's why she tells you she might vomit, throw up. So you're telling on yourself. Well, you filmed it. They found the video. You also took still pictures of the suitcase in a different position. Now you hear the detective saying that the suitcase is farther or closer to the dining table than it was originally in the photo stills. So the suitcase was moving around. So now you have to ask yourself, was he moving himself around in this damn suitcase? What's the truth? Or this is all Sarah's doing, moving and flipping. Why? I don't know. I'm getting more confused now listening to this information. Thank you for joining me, everybody. Law and Crime Network is the source if you are curious. This is in the YouTube queue and also on my community page. Thank you for joining me.
Well, that's what you did.
But not intentional love.
No, you told me you went upstairs because
What?
you were
Stop
getting
here.
ready for bed.
Stop here.
Okay, but
Where's here?
show me where you can see any fingers coming out. Because there's the end.
It's, and his head's right here.
Mm-hmm.
So going like this, rather than going all the way up, it's like this.
But why is he saying I can't breathe, and why is he pushing on it as if he can't get out?
It doesn't show a hole.
There's no hole. There's no fingers. I don't see his fingers. There's no hole.
I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like, I don't know, like, what you want me to tell you.
I'm just showing you. I'm just telling you what we see and what we've heard from the other video.
I understand.
He's begging for you to let him out. You're laughing in the beginning, and then in the end, it sounds kind of like
No, it's not malicious.
Well, saying fuck you,
It's not malicious.
then what is that?
what does fuck you mean to you?
Well,
Like if I were to tell
oh, like he does. Like, I get told everything but a white woman, so
Okay.
my intention was not to leave him in there. Please understand that. My intention was not to leave him in there.
But you went upstairs thinking that he could get himself out, but the video shows
That's
at
what I
one
told
point
you.
and I see his fingers,
He'll be up here any minute.
and then 30 minutes later he didn't show.
And he's telling me
And I
he
didn't
can't
wake
breathe.
up.
Do you think
Not
he's
able to get
joking? You told me he was laughing, and
We were
the
before.
video, there's no
We first
laughing.
got in there. Both of us were.
So how long was he in there for? Like, this video is at 11:12 when it starts, so was he in there for like a long time prior to
No.
recording this?
No. No.
So it goes from funny to no longer funny,
But I
you're the
didn't.
only one laughing.
But I didn't think that he was like panicky. Like
So pushing up on a suitcase saying, Sarah, 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 I can't breathe.
George has done that in the past before too, where it's just like he thinks that he's woe is me kind of thing, where it's like I don't.
He's never been locked in a suitcase, but
No.
he couldn't get out. So
It's kind of. I thought it was
And
the
you have
voice
the oxygen.
crying wolf kind of thing.
okay.
And again, my plan.
But nowhere in there is he laughing, is he joking? He is begging. And you're the only one laughing.
Okay.
And you're the only one saying derogatory comments. Like you're mad.
No. Please don't. I don't mean to sound negative, and I don't know if I can say this, but like it's like you guys are kind of trying to like feed me. Like,
No, I'm just trying to show you a video that you no longer want to watch because you probably don't want to know the outcome of how and what.
Y'all won't believe this, but I've been getting $540.
Sorry about that. Very interesting information. You don't want to watch the video because you knew the outcome. You now know the outcome. He died in that suitcase. So now we have to ask the ultimate question. How did Jorge get in there? Did he willingly put himself in the suitcase? Or was he knocked out, passed out, drunk? She drug him over there and put him in the suitcase. You also hear her asking how long he was in the suitcase or how long the filming went on. Allegedly, it started out with saying this was a 2-minute video. I don't know. It's very diabolical.
Of how and what you said.
Well, I know what.
You know what's on that video now?
No.
You remember making that video?
No.
Why don't you remember making the video?
Probably because we had been drinking.
But you weren't drunk.
Just because I went upstairs and just because you're drunk doesn't mean that you.
That you were not drunk. You said that you had your wits about you. You said he had his wits about you.
Mm-hmm.
You said that you don't like not having your wits. In my experience, if somebody cannot remember doing something to the extent of making 2 videos and a video and taking a photo, they are intoxicated.
Okay. I understand where you all are coming from.
Well, we're just trying to make sense of it. We're trying to figure out
We're trying to figure out this
You
video.
explain it to us. We're listening.
I just did. Like, we were playing, and then, like, I thought it was. My plan was not to go upstairs and go to sleep. My plan was not to. He'll be up here any minute.
But you willingly went upstairs and went to sleep. No one forced you to go upstairs and get
My
ready
plan
for
wasn't
bed.
also to leave him in the suitcase.
So why didn't you take him out?
Because I went upstairs, and then I fell asleep.
But why didn't you consciously think he's asking to come out?
I didn't do it intentionally.
What do you think is going to happen if you leave somebody in a confined space like that?
Well, I thought by not giving it up all the way, it would be okay. My plan was not to leave him in the
And what was your
suitcase,
plan?
waiting for him to come upstairs.
And then when he did it?
I fell asleep.
You said you were up there 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, somebody not coming up.
Knowing that the last time you saw him was in the suitcase, 30 minutes later, you're like, maybe I should go check on him. Maybe I shouldn't.
No.
That didn't cross your mind because it didn't happen.
That's like an assumption. Like, that's what you all are thinking. Just,
We're asking.
it's the
You
whole,
tell us.
it's the drinking. That's what it is. It's the drinking. I thought it was like, I thought he was okay. Like, I didn't,
He's telling you he's not. He's telling you, Sarah, I can't breathe. He's saying your name, and you're like, that's my name, don't wear it out.
guys, that's how we are with each other. Like, nobody understands our relationship. The whole suitcase thing never happened before.
Would you leave someone else in a suitcase? Would you leave Lucas in a suitcase jokingly? Because it was a joking matter. You put him in there jokingly. Would you leave Lucas jokingly in there? And you love Lucas, right? And
I wouldn't do that to him either. I wouldn't do that to him.
She's being asked, would you do this to your son, Lucas? She says no. But we do have information that she did allow her son to crawl into the suitcase years ago. The state got involved in that situation, but they do believe the child asked to go climb into the suitcase. So no charges were ever brought against her or any type of taking of custody from her. But somebody complained about those photos or videos leaked out, or put out rather, about her putting the child in a suitcase. But you hear the detectives asking, would you do it to your son? She says no, she would never have done it to Jorge. He's never done it before. But all in all, when you dissect the entire situation, he couldn't zip himself up. So that means the outside party had to have zipped up the suitcase, number one. Number two, he's pleading for his life inside of the video, and no one opens the suitcase. Nobody else there to open or close the suitcase. Nobody there but the two. She's outside the suitcase, he's inside. So that means somebody had to zip him up, and somebody would have to unzip him to get him out. No room for fingers. She said she allowed him 2 fingers out, but detectives say there was no room for a finger or fingers to maneuver the suitcase from inside. Exactly. Go rudder. Who the hell gets in a suitcase? Yes. See, that's what children do. These are things that children do. So this is why I'm saying, you don't know what's the truth about her relationship with Jorge. If they were quirky, they played hide and go seek as adults, get drunk, get turned up, do crazy stuff, puzzles, games. I don't know these people. But I, as an adult, I'm not climbing in a suitcase. I don't recommend children doing it. This is how a lot of children end up suffocating playing children games that go awry. You know, sticking their head through bars, banisters. Now you can't get their head out. It's all the same thing. A child don't need to climb in a suitcase because a child might climb in a suitcase. The other child locks them in, and God forbid the child can't unlock it when they ask to come out. Or the child might be facetious, nefarious in nature, and leave a child in the locked suitcase trunk or something and walk off. Now the child's in there suffocating, can't get out. This is why you have to be careful of your surroundings, your belongings. Don't leave stuff out for even children to climb in and play in. Isn't it any truth that that's why the suitcase was out, was to take donations and drop them off at the child's school? Is there truth to what Sarah said about them gathering clothes? Or was this orchestrated? She pulled that suitcase out because she wanted to play this funny game with Jorge. She hoped he would be stupid enough to climb in there. She asked him to climb in there. His dumb butt climbed in there, and then she watched him die in the suitcase and went on about her business. Did this game happen deliberately by Sarah? Boom. Thank you for joining me.
So I just, well, it's not like, again, I don't think you all understand. Like, it's that was not my intention.
Well,
y'all don't have any idea what I did for him.
But by your action, that's exactly right. You get to the point where you've done so much for somebody and they don't show you any appreciation.
He did.
Not by your words in the video. I don't get that.
He did.
Because you're bringing up the fact that when he's choking you, you can't breathe. That's how you felt when he cheated on you. You couldn't breathe. And you verbally several times told him just fuck you.
Well, you said it in the video, but you won't let us play the rest of it because you don't want to.
When I say cheating, it's on his phone.
Okay. Cheating is cheating.
I think so too.
Exactly.
It's your definition of cheating, though. So, I mean, that's what the word cheat means.
And that's what you told him in the video. That I couldn't breathe when you cheated on me.
No.
That's how I felt when he said, Sarah, I can't breathe.
Are you sick of having issues with your
Sorry
weapons?
about that. I hear you all chitter-chattering in that chat. Was this deliberate? I don't know. Hello, everybody coming in the chat. See, this is what I keep telling people. This is the obvious, like any crime, petty, misdemeanor, or felonious. You only get what's available. CCTV footage, text messaging, evidentiary material, and the words from the perpetrator, alleged perpetrator, and whatever's left behind with the victim. The state of the body, the crime scene. That's all you have. Hello, Barry. So you have to use your own discernment of what you think happened. Because this story starts off, we were having a great day. I've supported this person through thick and thin. He's beat me up. I've taken pics a while ago. Don't know how long that was before this interrogation. That she had took pictures and photos of herself, but she says in this interrogation it was a while ago. So you have to ask all those questions. How long they've been together? How long they've been beating each other up? Who started beating whom up? Why was he getting in trouble with the law? Substance abuse problems. Her supporting him financially, mentally. But in the end, it all ended up in this living room on the floor of a suitcase. So what happened? Because you can't start off saying, we had a great day, we were getting along, we've been getting along, but after playing puzzles, hide and seek, painting, drinking, we weren't drunk, somebody dies in a suitcase. And you filmed it stupidly, foolishly, and you're cursing at the victim in the suitcase, which leads people to believe you had animosity towards the victim. So your words are contradictory in the interrogation and what you told the cops from the beginning versus the video. That's where she fucked herself. Is filming it, taking still pictures of the suitcase, because they're going to ask you, why are you taking pictures of a suitcase upright, on its side, on its back, however you want to word it? What was the purpose? Because they always say that about killers. They need a memento of the crime. And perhaps this was her memento, plural. I need this. I need to see my handiwork. I need to see what I did to this SOB. Look at him in his suitcase, can't climb his ass out of there. Aha, gotcha. This is for every dirty thing you did to me. All the stuff I've done supporting you, wasting my money, my time, my body, fooling with a drunk, crackhead, dope fiend. Look at his dumb ass in a suitcase, couldn't get out. Dead now. Now I got to play the role like I love him. Stay woke. Does she have any remorse for not opening the suitcase? Did she deliberately put him in the suitcase? Was he inebriated when he went in the suitcase? Did he climb himself in the suitcase? Did she put him in there and he was passed out, drunk? What is the truth about how Jorge got in that damn suitcase? Will the truth ever come out? What's her defense going to be? He beat me up. He pissed me off that night. He said something out of the way. I just got angry. Yeah, I told him to climb in, or he volunteered to climb in, or she put him in there and he was inebriated and she dragged him in and zipped him up. He came to realizing he was in there and she just so happened to be in the living room to film it. What is the truth? Thank you for joining me. You're listening to the Vault XL. This is Sarah Boone's Interrogation. Crime out of Winter Park, Florida. 1 second, please.
I don't know if you. This is.
What would you say if somebody told you that they had done this?
Done what?
Set somebody in a suitcase and went up and went to bed.
Do you all not think? So you all think that it's like, oh, good, I got him in there. Now I'm gonna go to sleep. Is that what you guys are trying to assume, or trying to like?
Well, just the video is very portraying of the opposite of what you told us.
No.
It is not leading up, it is not matching what statement you gave us in the car.
So,
And that's why we want to know.
and I don't remember doing those.
The injuries are not consistent with what you told us. So we have a lot of inconsistencies, and this video explains itself. It really, truly does.
You don't think that I have thought about that?
Thought about the video or thought about...
But no, again, if you don't mind, please. So you all are assuming that it's like, oh, good, I got him in there, now I'm going to go to sleep? Is that what you all are assuming?
Well, it's not an assumption when that's what you told us that happened.
That's what happened.
And the video... Yeah, I mean...
I'm not going to say...
You thought he could get out on his...
Yes.
But the video shows that he can knock it out on his own.
But when I unzipped it with one finger.
From the outside.
But it had the hole in it.
And you're claiming that it had a paper clip, so that's what assisted you in doing it.
No.
That's what you told us.
When I had my sweatshirt, I said it had a paper clip on it. It's got...
But the zipper part is broken.
Yes, which is why we were going to zip it.
Yeah.
I just...
You were able to unzip it from the outside.
Imagine what they're saying here. A suitcase being operated by a paper clip. So really the suitcase serves no purpose. Is this a suitcase you would want to take with you on your travels? God forbid, the suitcase is thrown around and traveling on airplanes, plane to plane, terminal to terminal. Your goodies come out. Especially if you overload the suitcase. And the only thing holding it shut is this zipper with a paper clip. I think I'd want a secure zipper that could also connect to a lock some type of way, because suitcases go through a lot during travel through airports. Common sense. But nonetheless, they're basically telling her, Sarah, you're the only one that could have unlocked the suitcase because you're the only one that was there at the house allegedly with Jorge. And he didn't have no way to put his fingers through anything to open the suitcase. You would be the only one that could unlock the suitcase. There were no holes for him to stick his fingers through. So here, one could say that she was lying, that she left him room for two fingers out, that he could stick out to get itself out. But they're telling her no. No holes, nowhere for him to stick a finger or fingers out of the suitcase. So now you have to ask yourself, if she'll lie about that, what else has she lied about during this interrogation?
Which is why we were going to send it.
Yeah.
I just,
You were able to unzip it from the outside very easily, because that's the way they're designed.
but you could on the inside too. I don't know how.
So why wouldn't he have gotten himself out if he could?
I don't know. Like, I don't know if you saw like where the hole was. I don't
I
know.
didn't see a hole.
No
I
one
just
sees
see
the
no
hole.
fingers
You're the
sticking
only
out.
one that's what I'm saying. Like, he's in one position, and where his head would be, we should be able to see fingers. And then when it's flipped over onto this right side, again, his head is closer to us facing the video, so we should be able to see fingers. And we don't see anything. We see no movement of him trying to unzip it or physically unzipping it. All we see is pushing up, trying to push out of it.
Please do not assume.
I'm not assuming. I haven't assumed anything. I follow evidence.
But my intention was not, again, oh good, I got him in there. Now I'm just going to go to sleep.
What do you think someone that knows nothing about this or hears just a little bit like, oh, they were playing around in a suitcase
She's been drinking
and then watched
probably
that
went to
video?
sleep. That's what happened.
But you let him out before. I mean, you put him in, so why didn't you take him out?
Exactly.
Because I was upstairs when I fell asleep.
And that's what 12 members of the jury are going to say, despite all the evidence that's negative about Jorge and her relationship and battery and physical, verbal abuse, him going to jail, substance abuse, so on and so forth. They're going to say to themselves, drinking, not drinking, inebriated, buzzed, why would you just not open the suitcase before going upstairs, Sarah Boone? You knew he was in there. You filmed him pleading. So basically, you should have opened the suitcase when you heard him pleading. So you're not going to be able to talk your way around that. I went upstairs and then I dozed off. Because what they're going to say is you filmed it. So when you filmed it, he's pleading for life. That is the moment you should have unzipped the suitcase. Not a moment later. Why did you leave him there? Pleading for life. So her excuse is, well, yeah, he was in there and I went upstairs. That's probably not going to fly with 12 members of a jury. But Florida has some very interesting characters down there. We've learned this from Casey Anthony and that other mess with Trayvon Martin. I don't really trust 12 members of a jury to do right on really any case out of Florida. And that's not to be judgmental, but you can let a baby killer walk. Hell, she might walk. Because one, people get frustrated on juries. People don't like missing their paycheck from their jobs. And you have to consider all that when choosing a jury. It starts getting winded, long-winded, theatrics. People start turning on each other in the jury box. You got you an A1 problem. And all you need is one sympathetic juror who felt like she had been bamboozled, hoodwinked by this guy, used by this guy, and she just got fed up on this fateful night. Perhaps there were some words spoken that she just refused to mention during interrogation and in her affidavit. And she said, the hell with Jorge. Yeah, I want revenge. Oh my God. Crazy P says, thank God she let her son out. Yes, amen. But that's the whole point. Lucas is not Jorge. She loved her son, allegedly. I think she was tired of Jorge. Something happened on that night. Be a switch went off in her head. Because we have seen this in many battery cases. That a lot of times when people decide to exact revenge on a person, usually a woman against a man, that he's not beating her or talking down to her at that moment. That a switch goes off and she's looking at him saying to herself, I'm sick of this SOB. I want to be done with him. I don't want to run anymore. I don't want to hide anymore. I don't want to worry about restraining orders. I don't want to worry about this and that. I don't want to worry about my kids. I don't want to worry about custody of my children. I don't want to be in the courthouse. I don't want to have to pay this, that, alimony, worry about child support. I don't want to worry about the court system at all. I'm just going to be done with this MF. But what they're not thinking about is the evidentiary material thereafter. Because going to prison, not getting a bond is way worse than wrangling in the courts about child support, alimony, division of property, so on and so forth. But when you're not thinking clear, you're just angry. This is why I keep telling people, be careful how you treat people, because you don't know what end of the stick you're going to be on. They pop off. And this is what I think happened with Sarah Boone. She popped off. Perhaps they were having a good evening, but somewhere in the drinking of wine, whatever they were imbibing, a switch went off in her head and she said, what am I doing here? Why am I still with this nothing ass person? He ain't got nothing. He ain't offering me nothing. I'm tired of dealing with him. I'm tired of fooling with him. Because see, alcohol can make you do some very strange things, especially in the wee hour. Stay woke now. Alcohol can make you do a lot of things you wouldn't normally do when you are sober. And it's not to make excuses. Just saying. Many people do things they wouldn't normally do if they were sober. So is that what happened? She got a little tipsy or drunk, and her mind started racing about how he's treated her. And she said, yeah, climb in the suitcase. I got one for you. Or as they say in the street, I'm going to do you one better. I ain't zipping your ass out of there. You going to stay in there. And maybe on this fateful night, Sarah Boone decided she no longer cared for the boyfriend. She no longer wanted to be bothered. She no longer cared. And yes, she sat there and filmed him in that suitcase, pleading for life. She talked junk back to him. And perhaps she also sat there and watched him take his last breath inside of the suitcase. Thank you for joining me.
Wait. No, before you went upstairs. You consciously had to walk upstairs. You obviously remember going to bed because you were able to give me a time frame on that. And you specifically told me that you went upstairs.
My intention is not for this to happen. I am sick about it. I've never done anything like this before in the past. I am sick. Especially with that. I thought I couldn't sleep last night.
I'm going to read you a message that someone just sent to me. They are now listening to this live stream. Hello, sir. Thank you for listening to the Vault Excel. This is a message I just received pertaining to this live stream. She did it. I think it was premeditated. I think she planned this whole thing. She planned this whole thing all the way up to the last detail. Yes, she did it. No remorse, no nothing. She did it. She did some serial killer type stuff. Yeah, you hit that right on the head. Right there, baby. Thank you. Yeah, she had this set up from the jump. The person's telling me I'm doing a great job. Thank you so much, Mr. C, for that text message pertaining to Sarah Boone. Do you believe Sarah Boone set this up from the beginning? I will put that to my community board as a question for you to answer. It'll either be yes, no, or I don't know. Not sure. I will post that to my community board when I'm done with this live stream. Sarah Boone, did you intentionally set up your boyfriend? Did you plan for him to climb into the suitcase and you had no intention of unzipping him? Are you the one that asked him to get in the suitcase? Because see, we're never going to know the truth. And she knows not to go into a jury box saying, yeah, I asked him to get in there. Because then that'll lead people to think, okay, she set this up. What she's going to say is what she's been saying. We were having fun, goofing off. He climbed in there. I zipped him up. Or she's going to say he ran the zipper from outside. But they're going to say, we've got photos of the suitcase, and there's no way for Jorge to put his fingers out. Because if he could put his fingers out, he could have used two of them to scoop the zipper, unless the zipper was stuck. So let's ask that question. Was the zipper stuck on the suitcase with the paper clip? Was the paper clip actually in the slot on the zipper? Crazy P says she sounded drunk on her video she took, okay? Gold Runner says all she wanted was to get the hell out of the police station. Well, Gold Runner, I don't know if that's true because this is a 2-hour-long interrogation that I'm playing. She had ample enough time to realize where this interrogation was going when they kept asking her repetitive questions. Oh, you wouldn't put him in a suitcase? Oh, you never done this before? She should have seen where this was going. She also should know the law that it's best to be represented by an attorney. Asked to speak to an attorney. She already gave her statement, I'm sure, when they first came to the house when she called 911. She stood outside being interrogated by the police. That's also on law and crime. She already knew the game. You also had to give a written statement. So why in the hell you go sit up in that damn room with all these questions? And she definitely should have stopped the interview when they brought out the laptop with her video. She should have known then, they got me. I just lied and said I never took pictures. I never took videos of Jorge or that night. And then she tells you, I don't want to watch this. I may throw up. Then that means she knows what's on the damn screen. Her boyfriend is in that damn suitcase. And you hear the detective say, well, yeah, I guess you don't want to watch. Hell no, she don't want to watch. She knows what happened. She was there. She was there. It's just a matter of did she put him in a suitcase? We know she never let him out. But did she put Jorge in the suitcase? She's never going to admit to you that he was inebriated, drunk, passed out, beat him up. I deliberately put him in a suitcase. If we hear in court that she did that, I'll be very stunned. But if she wants to get off of this case and get freedom, she better not never tell 12 members of the jury, yeah, I asked him to get in the suitcase. Or he was drunk and I drug him and put him in the suitcase. Only a fool would tell that. Her best bet is to stick to, he climbed in there. I left him room to get out. I don't know what happened, but I did not intentionally kill my boyfriend. One second.
I thought I couldn't sleep last night. I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. You tell us the last night, you vividly remember this when you told us last night, that he was laughing, you were laughing, you put him in the suitcase, he has two fingers sticking out, and you go to bed. Now we see something totally different. And it actually shows you upset and, again, using derogatory terms to him when he's begging for his life.
It's always been inside me to make
All right, sorry about that brief commercial. He's pleading for his life. You hear the detectives telling her, no fingers out. The other detective, female, tells us, I didn't see his fingers out where his head was closest to the screen for us to view him in there. He's poking himself up, trying to get out. But there are no fingers outside of the suitcase. So here's where we catch Sarah Boone lying. There was no room for fingers. So this shows that somebody zipped him up from the outside. And you already know it's going to be hard for a person to unlatch himself or herself out of a suitcase when there's no room to stick your fingers out to try to maneuver the zipper with your fingers on the outside.
Derogatory terms to him when he's begging for his life to get out of that suitcase.
So my thing is,
we're assuming, we're not assuming.
But so it just happened to be that whenever I was videotaping or doing whatever else it was, just happened to not have that in it.
Okay. And you also in the video, you can't see any holes. There's nowhere in that where the zipper separates and you can see a hole. If there's a hole, he's pushing on it, begging you to get out. We should probably see that hole.
He eventually would have been able to get out.
Okay.
Alcohol.
Based off what you're telling us, he should have been able to get out.
Okay.
But the video shows him attempting to get out, begging to get out, and he can't. So that's just what we're trying to figure out. I don't know if maybe you had too much to drink, you zipped it up all the way, and then,
I did not zip it up all the way.
Okay. Well,
I did not zip it up all the way. This is horrific.
See, this is where Sarah has messed up. Sarah, you had to have known they took photographs of the suitcase, dear. They have videoed the suitcase. So they are going to zoom in on the zipper. And when you go to court, Sarah Boone, for those of you who are probably thinking, damn, Queen, you don't miss a beat. There will be somebody that's going to climb in the suitcase, Sarah Boone, in court to show they can't get out of the suitcase. Bingo card. Bet you all weren't expecting that. Somebody's going to climb in that suitcase in court. It's going to be a lawyer, perhaps. The state's attorney will have one of their lawyers climb into the suitcase. Same weight. Or they'll find somebody that weighs the same amount as Jorge, and they will ask the person to unzip himself or herself out of the suitcase. Now imagine that. And imagine the horror on the eyes of the judge, the defense attorneys, Miss Boone, the state's attorneys, 12 members of the jury, and everybody in court. God forbid it's streamed live to the national news. Everybody watching this damn suitcase in the middle of the courtroom, and a human being sitting inside trying to zip himself or herself out of there. She'll be done. Because there will always be reenactments in court, either with a dummy or any actual evidentiary material used in a crime. So the suitcase will be evidentiary in court, and a real human is going to be in that damn suitcase. Now imagine that. You hear Sarah saying, yes, I did. I left room for him to get out. And the detective here, the male, says, no, you did not. There's no room, sweetheart, for him to get out. She fucked herself. She fucked herself. She should have never filmed it. She should have never taken pictures. Ever. Ever.
This is horrific, okay? Horrific.
It is terrible.
Horrific. I don't think I'll ever be right because of this. Ever be right. Dealing with everything else that I have in my life, personally. And then this, whom I loved, it was not intentional. I will put my hand on the Bible. It was not intentional. I would not do that to him nor anyone else.
I put my hand on the Bible. It was not intentional. Is she telling the truth? Will Sarah Boone testify on behalf of herself to give us the rendition of what happened on that fateful Sunday? Because in this instance, Sarah Boone, you will have to put your hand on the Bible and be sworn to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God. How will she say? Or will her lawyer say, hell no, you not testifying nowhere? Because you were all over the place in their interrogation, very descriptive in every little detail of what you did, didn't do, who he is, who you are. Hell no, I don't want you talking to nobody. I'll do the talking. I'll lay out the defense. You just sit pretty in your chair. Let me do the work. Gold Runner says she should go to prison for this. Maybe that will be a lesson to her and any other fool who thinks that getting in a damn suitcase is okay to do. She's wicked. Do you agree with Gold Runner's commentary that Sarah Boone should go to prison for murder? And this should be a lesson learned for anybody not to climb into a suitcase. You see, this is why I tell you I don't believe in those wicked games that couples like to play with handcuffs and ropes and, hey, let me tie you up. Hey, let me put these handcuffs on you. You see, to me, this is no different. You think you know the person that you've been slumbering with, you've been sleeping with. You think this woman loved you. You think this woman's been supporting you. She's been putting up with your shit and blah, blah, blah. But on this fateful night, Sarah Boone had another idea. Yeah, I've been supporting you. Yeah, I love you. But I'm done with you. I'm tired of your shit. I want to be done with you. So you climb your ass in that suitcase, or she put you in there, however it went. Hey, he didn't get out of there. This is why I keep trying to tell you all. You don't know people. I remember a conversation I had with somebody recently, another dodo bird. Oh yeah, I like handcuffs. I want a man to tie me up. I don't mind. Oh, I don't mind a little choking. Well, you would be the fool to be in this suitcase. You're another stupid 50-year-old woman. The fact that you would give another person that much trust over you, or loyalty, shall I say, hell no. You're not tying me up nowhere. You're not putting no handcuffs on me. And a man shouldn't allow a woman to tie him up, handcuff him, vice versa. Because you're assuming we're going to play a game. Oh, it's a sex game. You'll like it. Have you all seen Stephen King's movie, Gerald's Game? Yeah, I tie you up and I leave your ass tied up. Bye, I'm gone. Deuces. You see, there is no loyalty. I think many of us have learned this in life. You put your faith in the wrong person, the wrong people. And the scripture tells you will surely be disappointed when you put your faith in man. And in this case, it was a woman. So whether he climbed in there or not, he trusted Sarah Boone. But on this fateful Sunday, there was no loyalty. He had to learn the hard way. Because you see, the signs were always there that they should not have been together. He knew better, and Sarah Boone knew better. But they rode the ride. And this is the payback for riding the ride. And many of us have been there. You knew the person you've been messing with is no good for you. And they don't need you because they're using you. And in some sick way, you're using them because you're getting something out of this bullshit by fooling with them. So this was the payback. But what a hell of a penalty to pay. This is the payback for dealing with Sarah Boone. You crossed her too many times. And now you're dead because you wouldn't listen. Many of us have had to pay the piper for dealing with foolishness. And unfortunately, Jorge lost his life because he trusted Sarah Boone.
But she did.
Not intentional.
You intentionally went up to bed.
I didn't intentionally go to bed because I'm thinking, okay, I need to get out.
How did you not intentionally go to bed? You said you went upstairs and got into bed. That's intentionally going to bed.
Waiting for him.
And he doesn't come, but you don't go down to check on him.
So I happen to go to sleep. When I say go to sleep,
And what do you normally do when you go to bed? What do you normally do when you go to bed?
What do you mean?
What is a bed for? Going to sleep.
Right.
So you go to
But
bed
obviously
to do
you
what?
can tell too that, like, I'm
You go to
thinking
bed to do
also.
what? Okay. You kept telling us, hey, I wasn't intoxicated. I wasn't this. I wasn't that.
Being drunk and intoxicated, which, yes, you could tell that I had been drinking, but.
Okay. So if you weren't intoxicated, then why would you ever leave somebody in a suitcase that's begging to get out, that's telling you they can't breathe?
If I hadn't been drinking, you still think it would be the same thing? Where it's like, hop in, I'm going to go to sleep. Is that what you all are trying to do? To portray
We're not
as?
trying to do anything. I'm simply asking you to explain to me what happened.
Everything was fine and dandy.
I don't call it fine and dandy.
Was fine and dandy. You all don't, okay, for me to tell you this, again, mind you, I've been without him for a day now. I don't know, I mean, I don't know what you all want me to tell you, because this was not in any way, shape, or form, hand on the Bible, intentional.
Okay. So you just
I didn't kill him.
You left him there to teach him a lesson?
I didn't mean to leave him there. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
You got up and walked away. How is that not intentionally leaving him there?
Because I'm looking at the hole, knowing that it's there. He'll get out no harm. Because you don't.
He doesn't. But you don't go check on him. You say you're up for 30 minutes and he doesn't come up. You don't go down and check on him?
I'm in the bed.
You even move.
And so
You admit to moving the suitcase like over. So
roll it.
You roll it out. Like, it's not like
I didn't want it to be like that. Don't.
You didn't want him to be upside down. How do you even get upside down?
Right.
YouTube is the #1.
All right. I'm going to end this stream because I'm already 2 hours in. I'm going to try to get to the ending. Here you hear it was upside down. This is where I was trying to get understanding earlier. How did it get like that, Sarah Boone? The detectives asked you. You moved it. So it went from upside down in a pick to then lying flat down where you can see he's, trying to maneuver the suitcase to get out. He can't get out. No room for any fingers to seep out of a hole to get out. So that means, Sarah Boone, you moved the suitcase. You were playing games with the suitcase, which many will say this was intentional. Because where you messed up, my dear, is taking photos of the suitcase in different positions and also filming him and quipping back and forth with him while he's in the suitcase, which goes to show intentional. So now we got to ask the ultimate question. How did Jorge get in the suitcase? How did he get in the suitcase? Did he willingly climb in, or he was drunk, inebriated, and you decided to play funny games with him on this fateful night, and you drug him and put him in the suitcase and zipped him up, and at some point he woke up, and then that's when you started filming him in the suitcase? I don't know how it went because I wasn't there. A Go Runner says, what happened to just having normal sex and man asking to do crazy crap will be on the highway one-way ticket? That's scary to me, okay? Crazy P says, playing hide and seek, what a joke. Yeah, see, you don't even know what's the truth. You don't really know if they ever played hide and seek. See, that's the gist of this story, because you don't know Sarah Boone and you don't know the decedent. You don't know what relationship they had. What you do know is what's on documents from the police department, that they beat each other up. How many infractions they have against one another separately, I don't know. But it's a volatile situation. It was at one time before she got arrested for his murder. Each person knew that the other one was not in their favor and they should have bolted out of the relationship, but neither did. And you can't take it back. And that is the thing about our actions, that we can do things we can't take back. This is why I always talk to young people. Think before you do things, because you may get yourself in a situation you can't climb your ass back out of. And this is where Sarah put herself. I do not know what happened on this Sunday. I do not know how much they had to drink. I do not know if they were legally drunk. I do not know if both were using drugs. I do not know if they had words, argued. But somehow Jorge got in that suitcase and he was zipped up from the outside. There was no way for him to put fingers through to the outside to let himself out. And someone zipped him up, and that would be allegedly Sarah Boone. You see, you have to own your part you play with people. Because many people have gotten themselves in very dire situations, jacked up situations, legal situations, because of the company they keep. Being in jacked up scenarios, relationships, entanglements. And there comes the point when we all know we don't have no business with these people. She had no business with him. He was a misfit. I know he's dead, but in life he was a misfit. And 9 times out of 10, something was going to jump off between the two because they both were problematic for one another. And when you're dealing with drugs and drinking, it's never going to mix. even if the other person does not end buying, it's going to be some shit. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. So if it wasn't him in a suitcase, it could have been him bludgeoning in his sleep. She could have pushed him down a flight of stairs. And if you're dealing with a drunk, it wouldn't take much to hurt him. He didn't weigh but probably 100 pounds strong. This was going to happen. Something bad was going to happen to this dude. Or her. He could have pushed her. She fell into a wall, fell into a coffee table, bust her head. These things happen when people are drinking and they're high. They shouldn't have been together. Now she's in prison, jail, waiting to go to trial next month. A son without a mother without a son, and now she's facing prison in the worst state in the world to go to prison, which is Florida. Some will probably tell her, you're better off just taking a plea. Just take a plea. Yeah, he was in a suitcase. I was feeling some type of way. And I walked off. And I foolishly fell asleep. I didn't intend to leave him down there long. But when I did wake up, it was afternoon. And I went to the suitcase. And I saw that he had perished in the suitcase. One second, you guys. All right, everybody, I'm going to give you somebody's opinion, and then I'm going to play the ending of that video. Feel free to go to my community board to watch all of the information about law and crime. I have Mr. C on the line. He'd like to give you his opinion pertaining to Sarah Boone and the decedent. Go ahead, Mr. C.
Yes. As I said, I think she did it. I think she planned this. I think it was premeditated. I believe that she planned this she played the whole act out.
Why?
And,
tell me why.
She had no remorse.
Tell me why. Tell me why you think she planned it.
Because her, when she wouldn't let him out, like the police officer said, like she couldn't breathe. Like when he was doing whatever he was doing to her, she felt like she was paying him back. You don't know what was going on there, but I feel like just listen to the video, what I listened to, what I heard, the cross-examination, all that stuff like that showed me that, and then they played at what they played, and she had no remorse, none, not even a little bit. I think that was like you said, payback. Like when you said she had to have something from the crime scene, because like you said, most serial killers like to keep jewelry, all this different type of stuff from the crime scene as something to have, But I believe that she did it. I believe that she planned all of it. It wasn't something that just popped up that day. She decided to do it that day. I think that she had planned to do this.
Well, let's ask this: if you believe it was planned, then how did Jorge get in the suitcase? Do you believe he climbed himself in the suitcase and she zipped him up, or she put him in there drunk?
I think she tricked him into getting to the suitcase as part of a game.
Okay.
Then once he got in there, she zipped him up.
Okay.
And that was it. That's what happened. And like you said, they probably have been drinking and partying all day. So, hey, try this. We just boom. You know how it is. She persuaded him to do that. And he got in there, and that was payback.
Okay.
He wasn't there talking about I can't breathe.
Do you think she should have gotten a bond?
I don't think so.
Why not? Many people murder people and they get a bond.
I know, but I think she's gonna run.
Where would she run to? Where would she run?
She pregnant.
I said, where would she run to?
I don't know. You know, people don't think about that. You know what I'm saying? They just, I mean, they get out there, they know they in a lot of trouble, and they facing a lot of time, maybe even life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Come on.
I don't see her. I don't see her as the type running because she has a child. I don't see her running.
Oh yeah, I mean, maybe she won't. I mean, but like I said, sometimes they look at stuff like that, see if it's a high chance that she made, but maybe she wouldn't.
Yeah.
You know, maybe she wouldn't.
Yeah,
but
because
like
she's sticking to her story. She's sticking to her story all the way to the end, so that's why I wouldn't see her running. See.
Yeah, okay, but I still say that she conversed that man into getting into that suitcase.
Okay.
And then she wouldn't let him out. It was payback.
Well, what should her sentence be then?
Oh man, premeditating all that. They probably gonna give her life.
Yeah, I think it's second degree. I think.
I mean, I don't know what the circumstance was, you know, and stuff like that. But you know, I don't think she's gonna get less than 50 years.
Well, do you think the fact that he beat her up, the fact that they do have evidence of him beating her up, pictures, videos, he's been arrested for beating her up. Do you think she may get a sympathetic jury member or more, and they let her off?
I still think she's gonna get sympathetic, but at the same time, this was premeditated.
Okay. Because
how you gonna get a man that normally beats you up talking into getting into a suitcase? So she taught that man to get into that suitcase.
But you know, it's a choice though. Nobody forced him in there. They don't have proof that she put a gun to his head to get in there.
But when the man said, "Let me out,"
okay, I got that.
That turned criminal then.
Yeah, it's criminal. Yeah,
turned criminal real fast.
Yeah.
And then she laughing.
Somebody says, yes, it's ridiculous to record it. She thought she would be able to talk her way out of it.
She recorded. That's the worst part. She
recorded. Yeah. That's what led to the arrest. It's because I asked you, did you take pictures and video? You said no. I've asked you again. And now I'm going to show you what you said you didn't do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And she did it all.
So you don't feel like she has any remorse?
None.
Okay.
You know, you can turn a person bitter and they don't feel nothing no more.
Well, that's usually what happens when people become bitter.
What happened.
Yeah.
Instead of getting away, she felt like if she did run, he'll find her.
So let's do this. You don't feel like Jorge deserved any punishment for beating her up?
Hell yeah, he deserved punishment. He should have been locked up. That's what's wrong.
Okay.
A lot of times these women will call the law, but nothing is never really done, you know, and domestic violence in this nation is high.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, they should have took that a little bit more serious from the get-go and they wouldn't have led to this.
Okay.
And she probably said, well, they ain't going to help me. I take care of myself.
Okay. So let's go back to that Sunday. So do you believe perhaps that they had an altercation that night and then maybe they got a little quiet and then she said, crawl in the suitcase?
I think they had been drinking and partying and stuff.
Okay.
And I think it led up that, like they said, you know, I think they were probably hanging out. She played it like everything was okay.
Everything was okay. So maybe nothing really happened that night, just that her mind started thinking.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And she was tired. He might have beat on her the day before that.
That's true.
She got the mind.
That's true. That's true. Very true.
I'm not taking nothing else. Just it.
Yeah.
Just it.
Yeah.
Police won't help me. The law won't help me. I done reported. They won't help me. I do it my damn self. How many times have we said that? I do it myself.
Yeah. And that's where the criminal part comes in. Because as I said, you know, we all are human. We all fall short of the glory. And any one of us could pop off at any given moment. This is why I always say you got to treat people accordingly, you know.
See, what she should do, allow you to tell the temporary insanity.
Yeah. Something.
She could have some women that in the juror. You may have some men in the juror that seen their mama get beat up and don't like that. Or you got some women there that's been beat up or had that type of stuff. Yeah, she could. Yeah. You're right.
Well, all I can say is I hope ain't nobody then been beat up, because that's what happened with the Scott Peterson trial, why he was able to get another hearing because one of the jurors lied and didn't tell the truth that she had been battered before by a man.
Yeah. So that would alter the whole thing.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that she could get a less sentence. She could get 25 years, but that's still a long time. No matter, it's still a long time.
Yeah.
Because the point was that she could have let him out, and she didn't. And every that detective on there said he couldn't. When he's saying he couldn't breathe, you was thinking I couldn't breathe either.
Yeah.
When you was beating on me.
Yeah.
I couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I hear a lot of truth to that. I sit there and listen to it loud inside the store. I put it on the speaker, and I was listening to it because I want to hear it all. And she did it with no remorse.
Okay.
And she had a reason for that remorse because she got bitter. They made her bitter.
Okay. And this is what happens to people. That's why a lot of people act and behave the way they act. It's not to say it's right or wrong, but many people are bitter because of the way they were treated. And they could have been a decent human being. They acted decent. They treated people accordingly. But it took that one person to make them bitter. And they don't have no remorse for them, even if they never did this act here. Just they're walking around mad at the world.
Most women who are beaten are scared. They scared. They scared of the guy that's doing it to him. Because he done threatened him. He done beat him so much he got him scared.
Yeah.
You're not talking. I know when you talk to somebody, when you go out, I know dreading, boom, 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 and all this, and they scared them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not no way for somebody to live. And I think what happened with her, she got tired of being scared, and she got bitter, and she just did what she thought was the best thing that she could do. Yeah. And I guarantee the way she's sounding now, it's like she got a big weight off her chest. Yeah. Even though she knows she's getting ready to go do a lot of time, I think she feels free for once in a long time.
And see, that's the sad part about that, is that the freedom she feels, let's just say she actually feels that freedom is in no way compensatory to doing time in prison. Because who wants to go to prison for a long time when all you had to do was walk away?
Yeah, but he probably had, like I said, most people who are abusing women scare them so bad that if you ever leave, I'll find you.
Yeah, well, he may have. I don't know.
It'll be worse than it ever was.
I don't know if he ever threatened her. Well, I don't know if he ever threatened her or not, but I'm just saying, obviously she wasn't thinking with a clear head, because at some point she should have decided that this isn't the kind of life I want. I don't want to be with a person that drinks and gets high. I don't want that type of atmosphere around my child, because he could have hurt her child. So see, it's way deeper than just their relationship. She also had a boy's child in her custody. So that wasn't a good atmosphere for a child.
Yeah. But see, what I'm saying is that, he wasn't no angel. You see, most people that abuse women out in public, you never know, because they put on this prestige. Because them beating the women, they don't want nobody to know. They don't want a man to know. You know what I mean? Because they doing it, but they got a little bit of shame. But it's crazy. That's what it is. It's a mental thing. People just beat on somebody because they just feel like they have to. That is not thinking with a straight head. Mm-hmm. And like I said, he made that woman bitter. And for once in her life, she feels free. She can breathe, even though she's going to prison. I don't think she even care right now. Mm-hmm. I really don't. I think she feels so much freedom right now. And she ain't got to worry about him walking through that door again.
Well, I don't think she likes being in prison, because I believe that was mentioned in some commentary I played earlier. She said she was claustrophobic, so she didn't want to be in a jail cell, but she's been in there a while now, so it's a new norm for her. But I'm sure she would prefer to be out and taking care of her child.
Yeah, but maybe something happened where her sentence is lessened. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, something like that. But like I said, she was beaten on, man. She was, like I said, a lot of times, okay, police won't help me. If he keep on doing this to me, he's going to end up killing me. And she pulled a smooth thing on, got him into that suitcase. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Well,
like I tell people, the one thing I've learned about true crime, once a person has been indicted or charged, everything relies on the evidence, the eyewitnesses, CCTV footage, and the witnesses. So you don't even know what witnesses are going to be called. You don't know if they're going to be neighbors, people coming out saying he beat her a lot, he choked her. see, that can weigh heavy on people if they get a lot of people that are testifying on her behalf that she was a decent person and that this guy was beating her and sending her to the ringer, through the ringer, and she just held on for dear life until this one fateful evening.
And mainly if one of her friends come forward and say, I tried to get a lead many times, and they.
Well, she speaks to some guy named Brian. Well, she speaks to some guy named Brian during this interrogation, and I'm sure that person will be testifying probably on her behalf if they're still friends. And then they may even ask her child to testify. So I don't know how old the child is. So you never know.
That's true too.
Yeah. Plus any records they have of him being arrested after beating on her.
Yep. All that's gonna be brought up and bleed at.
Yeah.
The lawyer is gonna bring all that up. And then she may not get that much time. She might get a manslaughter charge.
Yeah, she might.
That's just like 5 years, 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, that's better than 20, 30.
Yeah. Well, she goes to trial next month, so we'll see what happens.
As long as the charge ain't federal on 5 years, she would only have to do probably 2 years and she'd be home.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, but like I said, I don't think it wasn't violent like she beat him with a hammer or she stabbed him 100 times or something like. A lot of women end up stabbing him and stuff.
Well, he do have some contusions. They said some bruising on the head and the skull, so they're trying to figure out how that happened. So all that's going to be entered into evidence, in the courtroom. So we'll just see what happens.
Once he got in that dang suitcase.
She may have. That might be what she was doing, was hitting him while
I think that's what,
on the outside.
I believe that's where the bruises came from. She got in that suitcase.
Yeah.
He can't get out. Oh yeah, she fired him.
Well, but listen, but think about this for a minute before you go. What if she opened the suitcase and beat him, then closed it up, opened it back up to see if he was dead, saw he was dead, and still zipped it up and went back upstairs?
No, I think she just zipped it up. She beat the hell out of him. Probably beat the hell out of him. He probably begged her. He probably begged her to let him out. And she probably said, "Yeah, I begged you too to stop beating on me, but you didn't do that either." So it probably was a lot of stuff going on in that room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And except for what she filmed, we'll never know what.
And that's the truth. And that's the truth. Because I hear her shushing him, and I said, yeah, she didn't want no neighbors to hear him hollering through that suitcase.
Yep. Sure was. And she beat the hell out of him. That's probably why he was in that suitcase. God, you're crazy. And I bet wouldn't have bet that.
So funny.
You know what I mean?
Well, I thank you for joining me, Mr. C. I'm going to finish this live. I'm going to play the ending of this interrogation. Okay?
And I enjoy your podcast.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, you have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, everybody. That's Mr. C. Going to wrap this up. I'm going to zoom through because this is I'm already 2 hours and 23 minutes in. Somebody said all of this abuse was happening. Why wouldn't the ex-husband take full custody instead of 50-50? Crazy P, I don't know. That's why I asked who the child is living with. Maybe he didn't know that her boyfriend was abusive. A lot of times people don't know what's going on in the household where their children live. So I can't say. I have no idea what was going on in the house. If there were neighbors calling about her, any complaints. But I do believe her landlord knew something of her tumultuous relationship because she did mention the landlord during this case. His probation officers knew of his deviances and her supporting him. So I don't know. That's why I said you don't know who's going to pop up in court and testify on this woman's behalf to say that, hey, she's a good lady. She's a nice lady. She wasn't a troublemaker. She just picked the wrong guy. And on this fateful evening, she didn't unzip a suitcase. Negligent homicide, manslaughter. I do believe she's being charged with second-degree murder. So we will see what happens. And we'll also see who shows up in court and testify on her behalf. Who will testify against her. Goes both ways. What will people have to say about Jorge as a person? Because naturally, he has a family, friends, children. See, that's the thing about crime. There's always going to be somebody that will still aid the perpetrator, support the perpetrator, whether they are alive or not. Thank you, Gold Runner. There will always be somebody that will support the naysayer, the wrongdoer, because everybody has a friend, family, children, and despite your sins, your indiscretions, there'll still be people that will support you. Still will be people that support you. Hello, hippie. How you doing? Yeah, you're late. Let me try to zoom through so I can finish this up. At this point, they've been discussing the fingers in the suitcase. They're telling her there was no way for him to unzip himself, that she allowed him to die in that suitcase. And this is at 50 minutes in. It's another hour to go, 5 minutes. I'm going to try to get near the back of this at the end of this video. Feel free to check it out on Law and Crime. It's also posted to my community board. Thank you all so much for joining me. One second.
You're not free to go. Okay. Do you promise everything you told us was the truth? Or no? Everything we've talked about today?
Yes. What do you mean?
He asked to swear. Remember I swore you yesterday on the audio recording? I just forgot, so he raised his hand to remind me to tell you.
Okay.
Do you promise and swear that everything we talked about today has been true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
Or which
True and accurate to the best of your knowledge.
What, that it wasn't intentional?
Everything you've said today, everything that's come out of your mouth has been true and accurate to the best of your knowledge.
To the best of my knowledge.
Correct.
Yes. Why?
That's how you
we talk to somebody to assure that everything that we talked about is
true and accurate to the best of that person's knowledge.
it's not a trick question.
To the best of my knowledge?
To the best of your knowledge.
Everything that you've told us today is true and accurate to the best of your knowledge.
Yes, but it was not intentional.
Okay.
Okay. Do me a favor, stand up. I need you to turn around, face the wall. Put your hands behind your back. Do you have anything in your pockets that I should know about?
No.
Okay.
Why is this happening?
Because George is dead.
Not intentionally.
We understand that.
He's still dead.
Well, we don't
Someone
really
needs to call Brian, please.
Okay.
Or can I not make the phone call?
You'll be able to make a phone call when we get you down to the jail.
So why is this happening? So this was a trick.
No, it's not a
No,
trick.
not
How
a
was it a
trick.
trick? I'm even here to ask you to explain a few things to us. And
You were right, you're right.
your response to everything was basically, I didn't do it.
Intentionally.
Doesn't matter. It's still there. In favor. Have a seat.
Really, guys?
Really.
So if I didn't show up. Why is this happening?
Because
Before y'all said I could leave.
when
That I was done after this. After that.
we were done, yes. We were done. Absolutely.
So now, so that's what it is.
We are done.
Right? Not intentional.
Okay.
So what am I supposed to do now?
You will.
Someone needs to call Brian. Lucas is waiting for Mom to come home. This was not my intention. I thought I was waiting for you all to come and figure out what's what and how many.
That's what we're trying to do.
And I was going to be able to go home and see Lucas. Now he's just not going to have me come home. So there's nothing that I can do.
No.
There's nothing that I can do in order to go home and see Lucas and prepare.
Not right now. No. You'll be afforded a time in court. You'll be afforded an attorney. You'll be afforded the chance to talk to a judge, and all that stuff will be worked out.
But what's the time frame for that, though?
I have no way of being able to tell you. You should make first appearance probably by tomorrow morning, if not tonight, depending on how things are busy, how quickly you get down there.
I had a
don't
sneaky
work in
suspicion this was going to happen. And I need water, like, really bad, please. Will took me down here.
Absolutely did not.
I just got those.
Okay. They are not
So she's worried about her cigarettes, drinking water, as some of you have said in the chat. She doesn't know how she got in this situation.
And what am I supposed to do with my car?
You find where it is. When you get down there, you'll have free phones. You'll be able to call.
What, as soon as possible?
Yeah, once you get down there, get booked in, you'll be able to use a phone in the waiting
But how
area.
long will that take? Because I need to talk to Brian.
You know, it depends how busy, how quickly they get you through. I would say within the hour. It's a free phone call in the lobby. It's a free phone call.
All I'm doing is bringing you there so I can see if we're getting over.
She has no clue.
So can I ask you, or whoever it is, those holding cells, the holding cells, am I going to be put in one of those?
I don't know.
Last time I had a panic attack.
Let them know that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, you're familiar with the big bag. As long as you go in and you act civil to them, they'll set you in the big bag. You'll be left there for
Can
a
you
while.
request that while I'm there?
No, that's not up to us. We don't work at the jail.
As long as like you say, if you don't
If
act
you
up.
go in and act like this, you'll go in and they'll put you in the big bag. If you go in there screaming and kicking and yelling and
How do I
cursing,
do that?
I don't know. I'm just letting you know that's what happens. That's how they weed people out. If you go in acting like this,
So I ask for the big bang?
they'll put you there as long as you're acting like this.
Yeah, because last
Recordings just got better.
Sorry about that. Requesting where she wants to be going into the jail. Very strange information.
because the last time I had a major panic attack in the building.
Hey, change the code.
I have not.
So what am I going to do with my purse? Oh, fine.
At first it's gonna come, but the cigarettes and stuff can't, so.
I put the lock out too on those.
Oh no, it's all good. Mine are the opposite, so.
What made you all decide to do this?
They just decided to do this.
Uh-huh.
George is dead.
You guys, I knew this was going to happen.
You did? Okay.
So I came
Well,
down
we
here
did.
willingly.
Yes, absolutely. We were trying to figure out what's going on. We're still trying to figure out what's going on.
Unintentionally.
Intentional or not, George is dead.
He keeps repeating that. George is dead. That's why you're arrested. She doesn't get it.
That's like when you say unintentionally, that absolves you from everything.
I need to get, I have my, I don't know if it's able to be or not.
I apologize.
I have things in my car that I need to.
What kind of stuff?
Okay, Gold Runner. Good Lord.
Well, I have my medication.
Okay, they have a pharmacy there, so if there's something that you have to have right away, you'll be seeing a
It's
nurse.
panic attack stuff.
Well, again, when you get checked in, you're going to be seeing a nurse, and that they have a pharmacy there, so they'll be able to take care of any kind of that stuff. That protocol is out of my realm. I don't work down there, so I don't know, but I do know they do have a pharmacy, and that you will be afforded to see somebody. Okay?
All right, that's the end of that. Feel free to go to Law and Crime to get the said information. Thank you all so much for tuning into this winded live stream because it was about an hour, 55-minute interrogation, and I skimmed to the last 10 minutes of them arresting her. Basically, them letting her know that, yeah, we knew everything. We're going to arrest you at the end of this interrogation because of the evidence and the fact that you let him die. You filmed this video. They didn't say that, but she knew at this point when they asked her to stand up and face the wall, the video is what hung her. I'm going to go back in and find the charges, and then I will end this live stream. Thank you all so much for following this live stream. I appreciate it. Welcome all new subs and visitors to this network. Whoops, sorry about that. 1 second, please. Okay, everybody. Fox 35 is the source. I brought you this information a few days ago pertaining to Sarah Boone. This is so you'll know the charges that she is facing. This is in Winter Park, Florida. The defense attorney representing Sarah Boone A Florida woman charged with second-degree murder after her boyfriend died inside a suitcase in 2020 said he plans to use a battered spouse defense when her case goes to trial. Wait a minute. It's jumping off here. Hold on. 1 second. Which is expected to happen this year during a pretrial hearing on the 17th of January. The defense attorney told the judge that the case is not ready for trial and that he still needed to meet with Boone and find subject matter experts for her defense. The attorney also asked for trial scheduling in April because he has another case in February. The judge set a pretrial conference for March 28th with the possible trial happening the week of April 10th. A status conference was set for the end of January. Boone is accused of killing her boyfriend, 42-year-old Jorge Torres Jr., who was zipped inside a suitcase and left for hours during a game of hide and seek at their home in Winter Park. According to investigators, Boone told them that she and Torres had been drinking wine and playing hide and seek when she claimed she went upstairs and passed out in her bed. She said she woke up hours later to her cell phone ringing multiple times. Reportedly realized boyfriend was possibly still inside the suitcase. She unzipped it, found Torres unresponsive and not breathing. Boone called 911 and deputies arrived to find him dead. Authorities said they found videos on Boone's phone showing her recording Torres trying to get out of the suitcase. In December, Boone sent a written letter to the judge citing several concerns specifically regarding an alleged lack of communication from the judge overseeing her case or her defense attorney. However, according to online records, Boone did not file a request for a new lawyer. She also said she was planning to send a letter to the governor, Mr. Ron DeSantis, about the mismanagement of my case, quote unquote. Fox 35 Orlando is the source of this information. This was uploaded January 17th, 2023. So trial is expected in April. Her attorney is going to use the battered woman syndrome as his defense. We will see how this pans out. It's a very diabolical story. And as I said, this is what happens when you deal with people who don't mean you any good. These two were not meant for each other. They didn't mean each other any good. And they both played a role in dating one another and staying with one another. And this is why you have to understand the role you play in dealing with people. That just because you're speaking today and laughing today, it does not mean that they are not dwelling on things that you have done or said a long time ago. As Mr. C says, my guest who was speaking on the phone, he could have beat her up the day before. Who's to say? And she asked him to get in the suitcase on this Sunday evening. I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know if he willingly climbed in or she asked him to climb in or he was inebriated and she put him in there. I don't know. Who's to say she couldn't have had help putting him in if he was inebriated? See, we don't know. The point is she filmed it, and that's what got her charged. Has she not filmed Jorge pleading for life? Has she not took pictures of the suitcase in different positions? She could have easily played it off and maybe even gotten a bond even with a charge. But where the problem is, even if there was no filming of the video, no pictures taken, the fact that he was zipped up from the outside, because naturally they have examined the suitcase, they've looked at the suitcase, they've possibly climbed in the suitcase, put somebody in there to see if they could open it from inside. You can't open it from the inside. That's going to lead them to believe the obvious. Someone closed it up from the outside. You don't have another participant staying at the house, visiting the house, so you're the only one left there with him. So they're going to say, well, you're the one that zipped him up. He didn't zip himself up. So as I said, no photos, no videos. You still got to explain how he got zipped up in the suitcase. Rather, he climbed in it on his own or not. So it's like a two-part double-edged sword. Even with no videos, photos, he couldn't get out. So that leads one to believe the obvious. Somebody zipped him up. And that leaves Sarah Boone. So she was doomed by being in the house, admitting to being with him. They're the only two in the house. That leaves her as a suspect, as the person zipping the suitcase. It's a diabolical story. She better pray that she finds 12 sympathetic jury members, or at least one or two, to hang the jury. If indeed 10 or 11 say, put her down. How much time is she facing for second-degree murder in the state of Florida? It's probably not good. But as I said, all she needs is a sympathetic juror. Whether they've been abused or not abused. But they empathize with her situation and assume she was under duress. She was upset. She was angry. She was bitter. She was backtracking, had an idle mind on this fateful Sunday evening, and decided to exact revenge by not opening the suitcase. Yes, the trial will be very interesting. I will bring you that set information when it commences. But I thank you all so much for following this network. Thank you for your support, your kind words. God bless all of you. Please stay safe. Have a wonderful week. I will be bringing you a movie suggestion for this week. So look to my community board this afternoon for a movie suggestion for the week. Any updates to breaking news and stories. I may not discuss every subject matter that I put on my community board, but I put it there just so you have the information to know what is going on in our great nation. Once again, all channel donations. $sign Big Angie, 129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are welcome during the live streams. Thank you, Mr. C, for joining us. I will be back this week with more stimulating conversation and commentary. You have been listening to The Vault. Exhale.